What's up? Recently, Tropical Smoothie Cafe opened up in my area like this year. Can't get enough of it. It's a horrible human being that I am. Hi internet. I'm Buckland.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I wish.
Just delicious.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get sponsored by like my own Keurig upstairs. So don't worry about that. Good afternoon / good morning, everyone. I'm Buckland. We haven't been playing D&D for a little bit. We've been on a bit of a hiatus. Today we'll be doing a one-shot with a fantastic group of human beings who will be segueing into just a moment. We have something nice and fun. What?
Nothing. I'm just looking at the stream.
I'm just looking at the stream. Oh yeah. So
you know what you've done.
There will be some familiar people. There will be some unfamiliar people. I hope that across the board there is a nice spectrum of hits, like the greatest hits, whether they're memes from the past to memes of the future. Either way, I'm Buck. Welcome. We're doing a one-shot. The one-shot's called Fading Nights. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce down the people and the characters. Yeah, okay. Well, hold that thought there, Emma. So if you're watching the stream, what I'll be doing is I'll be going down from the left side down, turning around and going up, starting with Ezra. Ezra, tell me a little about yourself and your character.
Player name is James. Pretty relaxed guy. Probably think more than I should. Ezra is probably in a similar boat. He can be a bit snobby, but I like to imagine that his intentions are in a decent place. I don't imagine he'll be too happy starting this campaign off, given the prior circumstances, but, see how it goes. The minimum is to be a meme lord, and the maximum is who knows.
So what is your meme goal for this session?
I guess for the past times I've played D&D, I guess the goal is to just be in at least 5 customly created memes.
5 customly created memes.
Yeah, they had this chat where they just meme the characters. So the more that are about you, the better I thought I was doing.
All right, I'm looking to Alu here for doodles then.
On it.
On it. Has been known to happen. Nice to meet you, Ezra. We got now a lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces. Walking down, but Ezra is Bao Bao.
Hi, my player name is Hugo. I'll be playing Bao Bao. Y'all are in for a treat because this is my second game ever.
Ooh, welcome to the wonderful world of D&D. Yeah.
Bao Bao is he's a good boy. He's a good boy. I'll leave it at that.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Excellent.
All right. Bao Bao. He's got a mean kick too. I'm just waiting for that axe kick to come down on something. What's interesting there is Ezra was to the left we just introduced, and it kind of looks like he's about to axe kick Ezra for like being snobby. It's like actually axe kick. Going around the corner is Alu.
Oh, that's me.
That's
Hi.
you, Alu.
Player name Cosmos, character name Alu. A little hyper halfling lady who died, but I guess she kind of is in denial about it, has fading in and out memories of what had happened. Waking up here, I feel like she's gonna be a little shocked. And yeah, been playing for D&D for a while and just glad to be here and terrified at the same time.
It's a solid mix.
The sign of a good D&D session when you go in excited and terrified.
Yep.
It's the concoction that makes for all the good energy. Interesting sub fact. Coast normally plays a very edgelordy type character, so watching Coast play Alu, who is like pure sugar, is going to be personally very entertaining. Away from sugar, we've got the seriousness with Sigurd.
Right, pleasure. Player name I go by Verdict. I'm playing a Sigurd, a barbarian, a zealot barbarian for that. So a barbarian that serves the gods in a sense. Let's see. He fell in battle with his tribe, and I would say he knows that he is dead, and he thinks that to be able to enter the gates of Valhalla, he has to avenge his people, I suppose. Once that justice he believed is served, then the gates then may open to him. I've been playing D&D for about 4 to 5 years. Really enjoy the game. Have DM'd and played a lot. It's kind of exciting to meet all of y'all and do this one shot. My goal for this campaign is to have at least a solid one-liner.
Solid
But,
one. All right.
We'll see how many we can squeeze in.
Got memes. We got quotes. We got welcomes. We've got
Tears.
Tears, yeah. Well, DM hit points. They're always refilled by the grand chalice that is tears and cheers. So finishing up tears and cheers, I guess Sass is the paprika you just put into that chalice there is Zana.
Yep. Emma, I've played D&D for 7 years. Most of it has been through this stream that you guys have watched. I'm playing Zana. She is a Beastmaster Ranger, and she died saving her tribe from the Wrethlings, which are like little tiny devil little bits that came and started to overwhelm her tribe in a big fight, and she realized that they were all going to die if she didn't do something. So she ran into battle and kind of did a distraction so her tribe could get away. So she's very aware that she's dead. She fully expected to die in that situation. Like, there's no question about, I might live. No, she was going to die. So yeah, she's very aware that she has died. She's very much a tribe mom, but straight to the point. Tribe mom. Mm-hmm. And she has her Flufin Fantome, who's a direwolf, and he's adorable.
Yes, we do not have a token for the direwolf, but roughly, how would you describe Fantome?
Giant white fluff of rage.
All right, white rage flute. So we have
like
here
medium.
after all.
He is a dire wolf, so he's like medium sized if I remember correctly. So he's big.
I think they're like large, but I digress. So basically, it's large enough you can like grab onto them and go run. Game of Thrones dire wolves. They're large.
Oh yeah.
Creatures. Yeah. So, welcome. We have a very colorful cast. As myself.
Oh, he is large.
He is large. As Buck, I have a cast of some non-player characters. Like you can see that I already got sassed for one of them. Don't worry, that sass will continue.
I see that.
Told you that Clyde would make an appearance before you know it.
He's sneaky. He's hiding.
He's doing pretty good on his stealth roll. If it wasn't for a camera that was directly on him, it's good in context. So a little bit to, if nothing else, like what is Arhor'ha? What is this world? Is this on the Sword Coast? Is this Farron? Is this so brew that you've created the third lineage of the fifth gods of the third era? No. So Arhor'ha is a continent that exists. It's the west of Sword Coast and north of Moonshades. It exists on Abertoral. So it exists in the world in Forgotten Realms. That said, there are events that have happened in this continent over the course of 7 years. It's been a long time. We've been doing this.
I have default to 7 years.
Sure.
My brain tells me
it's too many years. At a certain point in time in the narrative of this land, this continent that it currently exists in attachment to existing lore, is the theme of this season was Ragnarok, and that things are basically coming to the end of gods. So lots of bad things have happened when large powers come to clash, and these are the stories of people that have lived through these times, or in this case have died through these times. So here we're introducing what happens when things get in the crosshairs of some of the larger events that have happened towards the end of the season. Very short narratives. So you'll notice the background and where we're currently at is a little bit gray, a little bit translucent, a little bit not what you'd expect with like green rolling hills, forests, gnolls, and goblins, because where we're currently setting this is in a plane that exists in the lower planes between life and death. So the setting of which we're doing here is not, when you set your theater of the mind, keep in mind more Stranger Things, like the Upside Down, or like the Astral Seas with like where the Githyanki are. Set your minds to a place where gravity doesn't quite exist, where when you see things, it's more truly to a mist and a bit of a fog, and the concept of things really become material. As a result, there are two special mechanics that exist in our one-shot, one of which is vision's a little different because you're not truly using your eyeballs. Secondly, is that how things continue to exist here is truly based on their force thereof. In character, not everyone's aware of this. I think Ezra might be the closest person as a very learned character about just some of this. And we will currently set to where you are and go straight to in character and get to our plot and narrative. Everyone that's present here, you had an event that led you here prior to your death event. Between that event itself, whether it be shock, trauma, denial, etc., is followed by this wake of numbing calm as a more standard. Like I think Sigurd in this case is much more accepting of things are. It's more of like, I walk forward, whereas everyone else is like, I have been ripped from my body and I'm moving somewhere else. This experience itself is a bit jarring. Time has less of idea. If you have that moment right when you're going to sleep and like someone calls you and you're groggy, or right when you're waking up and you have no concept of what time is exactly, you're in this state, this limbo-like state. You can't quite see, you can't quite hear, you can't quite feel. That is until right now. There is this immediate feeling as though someone is outside of your house and like putting a light in with like a lantern light. You start beginning to perceive the idea of light. Then you start being able to perceive the concept of temperature, and you realize that initially you were quite cold, and then you warm up. As this light gets larger and larger, suddenly you start to feel, starting with your hands. And then everything comes like colliding all at once back into being, and you find yourself within the company of others, surrounding as though you were a satellite to Earth, like the moon, near floating this sphere of white light. You have no idea exactly, next for you, Sigurd, how you got here, but you currently are here in this next chapter of your existence. I'll let everyone give a little bit about what they physically look like, as that's what everyone else will go through and kick off in. I will ask Zana to kick us off. Give a little bit of what Zana looks like, and if you go ahead and say, hey, you've just started to exist with you and your floof.
Yeah. So, yeah, Zana has popped. She has, her hair is back. It's very white. She's wearing full, like, leather armor protection that has, like, touches of green and brown on it. And she has blue eyes. And then she's kind of, like, plopped down. Then you just see her giant wolf next to her. And like right before everything starts, she'll like take a look at Fantome and she'll give him a hug and be like, you weren't supposed to follow me here. And then Fantome is just up there looking adorable, and he'll just kind of sit next to her, like right by her side as they're trying to assess their situation.
Okay. At this point, I hand off to anyone who would like to go pick up for their character, and that's what our format will be from now until close. So that's Zana. Who's next?
Go
ahead.
No,
Jinx.
no.
Everyone talks and casts at the exact same time. What is going on? Go ahead.
No, you can go. You can go.
Absolutely not. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I am. I have bright red hair. It's tied up in like a half ponytail. Kind of stops at her shoulders. She's very short. Very, very short. She has green eyes, and she has a little locket that hangs around her neck. And on her side, she has a little sling, and then also a bow that she carries. And she wakes up from this and quickly just like pats herself frantically, just looking at her body, just seeing because of the last things that she remembered. And she kind of just looks around trying to figure out where she is, because it's not what she remembers, and trying to struggle through what exactly happened and not entirely sure. And there was a little bit of a panic, and you hear kind of like squeak in the distance.
Can you give me the squeak?
It'll be a long 4 hours.
So Sigurd, you would kind of, I presume he would start kind of like laying down on his back, kind of as he comes to. He kind of would sit up. I would describe him. He's got a thick beard with the long hair. He wears kind of he's not armored. He just wears like just close to like a comfortable like leathers around him, boots. like a little leather gauntlet to kind of wraps that kind of cover his arms where he's holding his weapons. He got like a little shoulder plate piece. And he's still kind of bloodied from the battle that he was just in, as he kind of comes to and looks at himself and realizes, like, what happened. And part of him, he's kind of excited, like, this is the glory that his warriors would wait for, as he kind of would come to and kind of gather himself and kind of dust himself off, trying to slick his hair back, try to look as presentable as he can be, knowing what comes next for him.
Bao Bao will just kind of slowly get up, dusting himself off a little bit, really confused on what happened. He's pretty much all red, a deep dark red, except for his hair. His hair is kind of dark burgundy, and his eyes are pretty much all black except for his iris and pupils, or irises, which are golden. He wears, I guess they're called harem pants, more of a modern version of a harem pants, and he has leather arm guards, but they're more for aesthetics more than anything. They don't really do anything. And he also has this white sash, his most prized possession. He sits up and kind of just reassures he still has it and looks around, very confused.
Yeah, so Ezra's gonna kind of be holding his head and stomach a bit woozy and shaky. And he can look at the stain of wine on his garments. He looks like he's in more like upper class or noble clothes at the moment. His hair is short, but it's like seems to be in like a specific style, as if he was at an event. He has a lighter white skin. He's only around 5'7" though. He's not the tallest person, and he doesn't weigh much. He'll kind of look down at the stain and be like, "Oh, that's grotesque," and then he'll kind of look up at this dark red person in front of him and be like, "What? Who?" And then he'll kind of look over and see an elf with a monstrous looking wolf beside her.
It's majestic.
And he'll be like, "Whoa, what is that?" And he'll kind of take a few steps back, only to run right into the next character as he looks to the side and sees Sigurd, and he's just gonna take a full jump back and be like, "What? Who are you? Where am I?"
Well, that no, like this. I was looking around and just assessing the situation, because now she's kind of seeing that, hey, there's a whole bunch of other people in this area. So seeing the flustered bard, trying to figure out, she's like, "Do you understand what has happened?"
Understand what? A moment ago, I was in my personal quarters drinking a really good wine. And he'll just kind of look at you, and he'll be like, there was no one like you around. You look like you live in the forest. And this guy doesn't look like he's seen a city in 3 months.
And like she's watching, like, I did live in a forest. I'm not positive, but I know I died. If
Wait.
you're here, I think you died as well.
We died? What?
Oh dear.
Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, at that, Sigurd is gonna kind of stand up and look around, like you kind of like see the excitement on his face and in his body. Like this is his moment, and he's looking around. Yes, are you all warriors too? How did you all fall? What battle did you fight in? Tell me.
Shit, you're tall.
How tall is Sigurd out of character? Sorry.
I would say he's about like 6'2" ish.
Okay.
And how tall is Alu?
Like 4 something? I don't know, maybe shorter than that. Tiny.
Oh, man.
Just like this. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he'll kind of walk up to the closest character to him and kind of like put an arm on their shoulder and be like, "Tell me your story. This is exciting."
I don't want to be that character. My character stepped back, but I can't move him.
Oh, so
I guess. Oh, sorry.
I'm
Oh,
not
because game's paused. Yeah.
I'm unpause the game. Keep in mind where you move your character is where your character ends, and you can't currently go more than about 10 feet away from that glowing orb. It's like gravity for you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, we're gonna go here.
I guess I'll be beside.
It's like I will keep. Well, no.
Yeah, my character was like cringing at the elf that he may or may not perceive as a savage, and then he sees this 6'2" tall guy like raving about combat, and it just kind of makes like the look on his face even worse. Like he's just genuinely afraid, and he looks at the shorter person. I can't tell what her race is. Halfling, and it doesn't help. Like he's not scared of her, but he's still just scared of everything. Like I can't die. I'm too young to die. Besides, it would kill me anyway.
Yeah, what he said.
Well, I was just like, well, it sounds like whoever gave you the wine that you were talking about drinking.
Impossible. I was at a formal event. Those people aren't. Ugh. He looks at the wolf. Animals. They have tact.
And like it's not as like petting Phantom. And she's like, well, in my experience, it's the people that perceive themselves as more civilized that are the true monsters.
Ooh.
Ooh.
He just looks at you with the same amount of like cringe, mix of cringe and fear on his face, as he just doesn't. It's almost like he just doesn't really know what to say at the moment, as he just like is looking around like. So okay, smart people. If you guys are so smart, then where are we right now? Because let me tell you, I'll look around. I can't see very far ahead. It just looks pretty dark.
We are in darkness.
Thank you, Alu. I forgot to mention something, not to break your good flow. For all the new characters today, which is to say Sigurd, Bao, and Ezra, you all start with inspiration as a welcome package. And we talked about how inspiration works a little bit on session 0. Please continue.
Well, like, I have to think of like, where are we? Like, Sana like takes a second. She's like, well, death has been broken for a little bit, so my normal assumption would be the afterlife, but I didn't perceive the afterlife as having so many extras in it.
Wait, who are you calling an extra?
She looks
Hello?
to Ezra. She's like,
Extra.
Oh.
if this really was the afterlife, wouldn't there be a lot more people than just us? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that lived over the course of forever.
I'm gonna look at
he has a
everybody.
point.
I'm gonna look at everybody and be like, kind of gather yourselves, and then kind of claim it like, do I look nice? Do I look presentable? The All-Father awaits.
Oh, no, wait.
Come on.
as this is all happening, so I was gonna go more towards like this white light that she seems. I imagine it's kind of feels like a gravitational pull, where like you're very much stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to figure out why and what it is.
Okay.
Is it something?
So we get to test some blind rolls. So
Ooh.
go ahead and test a blind roll, which is investigation. As Zana, as everyone is talking and reacting to their new state of existence, Zana is investigating this white orb. Okay.
Oh, so can't
So, very cool that it works as intended. No one can really truly see the results.
Sorry, out of character. So if I click blind GM roll and then I click off the character sheet, it will presumably roll it.
It will.
As blind, yeah.
Yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It'll keep the blind GM roll in the
Okay.
in the chat screen.
It might be the fact that a very upper class person who's calling you a savage has you a bit off, but Zana, when you start investigating this orb, like nothing that you typically do in nature seems to work.
Mhm.
Like it's not giving off like the heat that you would anticipate. It is truly beyond your ken. You only glean one fact, which is to say that it works as gravity. So if you try to go too far away, you see that pull to it.
Mhm.
If you get too close to it, like it feels the equivalent of safe. That's it.
Okay.
You don't
So-
you learn nothing else that you
Yes.
pretty much already know.
So as this is happening and like everyone's talking, like she's like walking around. I'm assuming she starts seeing stuff in the corner of the other people.
If when you start walking around a little bit away from it, what's your passive perception?
Her passive perception is. Give it 1 second to look it up. What is my passive perception? Dear goodness, where is it on the screen? I will find you.
It's your perception skill plus 10.
Oh, okay. So 15.
Okay, so right now, just so that we have format, we've got scene 1, scene 2. Scene 1 is Zana is investigating. Scene 2 is everyone is reacting. So, scene 1, count 1. You're going over, and Zana does her thing with her flute. And you look off, and you notice that in the distance, there is a bit of substance beyond this orb. You notice that there are little motes. And if you scroll out a little bit, and this is why I was like,
oh, I see. I got you.
Your background of like the blue really fits. You happen to notice that against these grays and like blacks of void, like almost like a soup, you can pick out colors of blue that flicker and float about in a very ethereal jaunt in the distance. You happen to notice that there is a familiar set of stones in various elevations and small chunks that look a lot like cobblestones or disconnected pieces of earth that exist off into the distance, a bit to the northeast, if the cardinal direction here was north and that's northeast. And you get the general faint outline of people and people talking. However, I'm not going to tell you what that is yet because I'm going to segue over to the reaction party. Go ahead, reaction party.
So in response to Sigurd asking if he looks, how he looks, Ezra's going to kind of like put his like a finger on his chin and look down and up and say, your appearance certainly leaves much to be and then as he gets to like his face, whether of excitement or whatever, Ezra will interpret that as more like aggression. It'll be like, yeah, you look fine.
Yeah, looking at Ezra and hearing that he died via wine cup, he kind of have like a sad look on his face. He's like, puts his arm on his shoulder and he's kind of like a sigh, like, your stories will not be told, but perhaps the place in the afterlife is fit for you too.
you died a shit death. Sorry, buddy.
It's a shit way to die.
He kind of shakes really nervously when you put his hand on him, and when he hears what he says, he'll just kind of like scuff your hand up, like, I don't want to tell my story. What do you know, you loaf? Everyone's gonna tell my story. It's not done yet. This light's gonna help me, or us, whoever, and we're gonna go somewhere that's not this corner.
I say, this light will lead us to Valhalla.
Well, what if we don't want to go there? I don't really want to go there. That doesn't really sound very fun at all.
And he's gonna look past Bao Bao at like the creature that's like the 4-foot thing in the back.
really easy to do.
And he's gonna like kind of like around Bao and like, hello. Why would you not want to go to Valhalla? Were you a warrior? Did you die in battle?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not really sure. There was a celestial thing, and that was very angry at me. Remember a spear and a city kind of blowing up and stuff. That was something. But
Story of Ages.
Yeah, Story of Ages.
Now that is a story to tell.
What? It sounds like she died a civilian. During an invasion.
I did not. I fought hard by running away.
Gotta raise an eyebrow. Huh?
Baba will kind of turn and pat Aelu on the head. It's okay, man. It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
Oh.
Anyways,
she bounced.
I was gonna turn to Sigurd and just mention. You talk of this Allfather. Is he strong? Is he really powerful?
Of course, he's a god of gods.
He's a god of gods. Do you think he will entertain a fight?
Oh, are you a warrior too?
I wouldn't call myself a warrior, but and he's like kind of flexing his muscle a little bit. I would say I'm a champion myself. I've won a lot of tournaments and a lot of combat, so I just want to fight the best. And you speak of him as him being this all great power, and I just want to test myself really.
So
Say.
flavor, because you're flexing. How strong is Bao Bao? Like, what's his strength?
He
To be
his
clear for
strength-
Sigurd for his theater of the mind, because he's
his
definitely
strength.
yeah. Just so you
his
know,
strength is 6.
yeah. So like a scrawny teenager, like a Disney
boy.
character.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Aylu is behind him, like flexing too, because she is an 11 and she's like more ripped than him. Yeah.
He'll look at Bao Bao, and although his appearance may be disheartening, he will not, judge a warrior based solely on appearance, although he is skeptical. But he will kind of smile at you. He'll kind of smile at you and say, "Well, once we enter Valhalla, perhaps you and I could spar, and we will spend eternity lavishing and enjoying the company of other warriors and hearing the stories and listening to our own history be told."
I think, hearing all these, like, death,
It's
all
making it
this
hard.
stuff
It's making
happening.
it hard to listen for sure. Like Sigurd's at an 8. Everyone else is at a 5.
Well, like, Xana's, like, listening, and she's like, well, Sigurd, how did you die? Like, I know I died protecting my tribe, fighting in battle. What about you?
You mentioned that, and all the enthusiasm and the excitement that was like kind of upon his face kind of would slowly fade as he kind of remembers, and kind of dawns on him what happened to his people, and he would look at you and say, "It was a great battle, protecting the ones you love."
Were you successful?
I don't know.
I think she takes a pause and she looks like, I hope you were. A death in battle, it always serves a purpose. So I hope for your sake that you're served a great purpose. And she realizes, like, I have brought down
Yeah, you like
the mood of everything.
Mom
so,
is coming being like, "Are you hydrating?
She's like, oh
Do you
no.
need snacks?"
So then like realize that it's like, and now the mood is down. So then like Fantome will come in, just be like, and just lick Sigurd. Just like, it's okay.
Yeah, and for context, for theater of the mind, like that's a big animal.
Oh yeah, it's a large animal. So when like Aylu is looking at Sigurd, like, oh, you're tall. Fantome is probably taller.
Probably, yeah. I'll think because it is on all fours. A large creature is on all
Yeah.
fours. But like for context, for help your theater, Fantome at Direwolf's head is about the entire size of Aylu.
Yeah.
Like it could just take Aylu's torso and go crack. Like it's a big animal.
Would I have ever seen an animal
Yes.
such as this before?
You would have
Okay.
seen Dire absolutely up there in the
Like
swamp.
of this size, I suppose.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Almost like a loading bar waiting on Ezra's head as he's completely oblivious to everything after Sigurd told him his story wouldn't be told. He just looks at him with like this disgust on his face. And once the loading bar finishes, he's like, brutes, look at you flexing around. I'll have you know that there are more warriors than that of the sword. And I think if you're Allfather or whatever, God of gods, in quotation marks, can't recognize a warrior of the mind, then you need to be there anyway.
Well, I believe there's always a place for somebody to bring us the wine.
This one's not poisoned. Sick burn. I'll let that sick burn settle for a second as we segue over to Zana's investigation part. So, camera one. So, Zana, while entertaining both scenes, you do start listening and getting a little bit more. You should be able to see, as I'm checking your token, 3 distinct figures.
Yep.
One distinct figure is feminine in nature, rather tall with flowing red hair. She seems a bit like well poised of where she currently is, but you don't see her talking. She's just standing there, lips not moving. Looking at 2 other figures. The other 2 figures look like you absolutely need some edgelord in this scene, so there they are. cowls over their face, dark clothes. But what throws you off when you expect like the journey of the Doom Guards is that their nature, their words are very colorful and enlightened. In fact, the one of them to the bit of the north, who, even though they're in like robes, a feminine person is to the north, and a masculine person is to the south with a cowl. Not particularly tall, not really intimidating. More like you'd expect like watchers or monks that happen to be out here. And you catch bits of their conversation. The masculine one to the south is talking to the feminine one to the north, and she's like, well, it's like, this is your last, it's like, this is the last out. Like, internship isn't for everybody. And she's like, it's for me. I'm like, all right, like, you have to stick to the rules. If you don't, do not get the protections. Do not get the protections. You can't do what you really want to do. And she says to him, well, what is it that I really want to do? And he says to her, we've worked long enough that I know you're not doing this in the goodness of your heart. And then he puts like a hand on her shoulder, pats it off, and says, I've got another appointment. And he just disappears. He just like scoots off, and, like flies, because there is no such thing as really gravity here, so he be gone. Any initial reactions?
I mean, Zana, on hearing that, she's trying to get, like, they're robed. And so I think her mind goes to, if they're in here and robed and he leaves, like, he has something to do with death or something of that nature, an internship. So she's like, so is she trying to be death? Like, I don't know how this really works over here. So initial reaction is like, she'll look back to the groups like, hey guys, we're not alone here. To let them know, like, there's more people.
To merge the scene.
It must be the Warriors, our welcoming party into Valhalla. Let's go.
Alexander's like, I don't think that's what's happening. And so, like, it's not from a distance. She's like, I think gets the feeling she can't go far away from this light. So she'll like step as far as she feels comfortable going, and she's like, hello?
And when you say that, you notice that both of the two figures, the red-haired lady and the robed lady, like, they stop and they turn. The red-haired lady says, good luck, Celeste can guide you. And then she flies off. And you notice up here, and by up here I mean like where the earth and the cobblestone has disjointed itself in the sea of a place without gravity, where there's like V'd crags where you might be able to put like a foot here and a foot there and balance as though you were truly on water instead, with these big, larger cobblestone paths above you. She stands up there and looks down. And she says, hello. And then you expect more and get nothing else. Just the word hello. Like, she's trying to figure out like what the next thing she really should be saying here.
Exxon looks like, are you death?
And then she pulls like the Ghostbusters, and like, if someone asks you're a god, you say yes. And just like, I represent death.
Okay.
Oh, how modest of you.
Do we hear that from where we're at?
Yeah, you hear Zana like having this yelling conversation off into the distance with another person, and you do hear Zana talk to this person who's further away. A different voice has entered the arena.
Okay. It's like echoey in here?
It is not. In fact, it's very eerily that there is nothing that has sound. So it's very flat when you hear things here.
Okay.
Like,
Figured we'll rush up to where it's Zana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He'll rush up to where Zana is. Kind of stand beside her, and he'll look upon this. He'll look to Zana and say, "Ha, you found our guide." And he'll look upon this new person and say, "Are you here to take us?"
So to Sigurd, this looks a lot like a Valkyrie. This looks a lot like a Valkyrie. A feminine person ready to guide the noble warriors on to Valhalla. Totally fits his dogma. She looks down to him, totally not fitting his dogma, and being like, "I am here to guide you." And then like the confidence like flavors her voice, like, I'm here to guide you to the boat that will move you on." And she looks at the orb. that's over there. She stands like, when you're all ready, let me know, as when the next place outside here is very dangerous, and we must act in haste to do so. Both Sigurd and Zana, from where they are, happen to notice that there are these motes of like blue and then white, and even like the purplish light. They're floating around, almost like fireflies in a sea of gray. The further you get away from this orb of gravity that you're near, and they almost like go near it like bug zappers, go zzz, and like they just like get deflected away or fly away from it.
So,
Yeah,
like the blue lights? Are the blue lights the danger?
I'll do it, but first I want to hear from Ezra. What's up, Ezra?
Oh no, she's not talking to Sigurd. She's like, oh,
Okay.
blue lights.
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of like hope that the next person isn't like the people that anyone else that he's talked to so far. But when he sees that the two people he doesn't want to be close to the most, he kind of stops here and he's like, "Danger? Why would I go with you? I don't even know why I'm here. I like the express boat home."
She flatly says, "You're dead."
I'm not dead. I still feel warm. I still breathe. I still talk. I still engage in social activities with, and he just kind of looks around, others.
I was gonna kind of go to whisper to Elu. Talks a little too much.
Tell me about it. Also, hi, I'm Elu, by the way.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We should
Instant friendship
probably move forward and figure this out together with this new adventure.
Yeah.
Away!
Fantome howls in agreement. Okay. So
Sigurd
except
kinda-
for Ezra.
Sigurd,
Go ahead, Sigurd.
Sorry, Sigurd will look back and look at Ezra and say, "Come on, wine man."
Why do you blindly follow this person? We don't know where we're going. It seems pretty safe here, yet you want to go on the dangerous boat to somewhere, nowhere, anywhere.
Is your life really just staying where it's safe?
My life is not taking unnecessary risk. I guess I don't expect you guys to understand.
We ride to glory, friend.
Glory? Is there a glory booth somewhere around here that I missed?
It's in the
If we're
center of the
actually
plate.
dead, where do you exchange your glory for something better?
Like Zana looks at Ezra, who's having a crisis back there, and she's like, like, well, you can stay here, I'm sure. However, that is all your life is going to be. One light. Is that how you'd like to live it?
As opposed to taking the immediate first response? Am I just to assume that this is going to be the only option?
When you
Sometimes
say
in
that,
life-
yeah, go ahead, finish. You can definitely see the eyes of this figure on you as you keep talking, Ezra.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Is this
yeah,
the
no,
only
he's got a point to make. Go ahead.
Is this the only option? Sometimes waiting for a little while can present you with much better options as opposed to the first immediate way apparently out. You haven't even talked to this person for more than 10 seconds. How are you gonna trust them? And you'll kind of notice that he starts talking a bit quicker as he gets more panicked. So for all I know, they could bring us to somewhere worse.
I'll look at him and say, "Our history spoke of them. These are the Valkyrie. They're the guide."
From my experiences with history, sir, kind of like puff his chest up and kind of like brush himself off a little bit. Say, dealing with gods, celestials, whatever they are, generally doesn't go well for us. They ask and they demand. And where does it leave us? Apparently in front of a light. I mean, that's where it's led you, hasn't it?
With a
I'll look-
spear in our chest.
I look at you with a sarcastic smirk and kind of say, "Well, they're known to take warriors. Anyway, not much of wine drinkers.
Oh dang!
You'll
Two
see
birds.
more steam in his head as he just scowls angrily. But he
She
just
clearly is not here for you.
All right, let's settle down. Settle down. We're all dead, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but this is. You should. I don't know, wine man. What is your name?
it'll kind of like straighten his tie that he might or might not be wearing. I don't know. He'll say, "You can call me Ezra."
Ezra. Okay. Well, I'm Alu, and you should come with us because I don't think you want to hang out here by yourself. And I'll protect you, so it'll be a-okay. I promise.
He kind of looks at the blank space where everyone formerly was. He looks at the wall behind him, and he'll say, he'll kind of look at the Valkyrie-looking person, and he'll say, "Why are you taking us? Why us?"
So she looks down to Ezra and says, "Because you are a lost soul. And as a lost soul, you can stay exactly where you are. When we get around to it, we will come back to help guide you back to where you need to be. But you're not where you should be. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. Believe me or don't."
How would you know where I'm supposed to be? I've never even met you before.
She clears her throat. "It is my job to know where you're supposed to be. And right now, you're supposed to be on a boat."
But how can you look at someone and just know they're supposed to be on a boat? Do I look like a sailor or a fisherman to you?
Sigurd will kind of like facepalm and say, "Can I kill him again?"
She actually takes that very seriously. Like you'd expect, like good humor. It's like, please don't. Like what happens to you in this form could be very permanent.
Oh.
And like at this point, like hearing the many I need to speak with the manager complaints.
Right.
Zana will look to Ezra and be like, I believe that we need to be on a boat. You are in the group of us that arrived here that are being told we need to go on a boat. If you want to stay here, you can stay here. That sounds like they don't know when they might come back to get you, but I cannot allow you to stop us from going where we're supposed to be. Just because you believe that your path is different. So you either can join us or you can stay here alone. But we need to go where we're supposed to be.
He'll just sigh. Say, "I'm not saying this isn't the right path. I just don't think it's the only one." And he'll look at the Valkyrie and say, "Fine, I'll take your word for it, but you have to answer my question. How do you
She very
know?"
bluntly says, "I don't have to answer anything, but please continue."
You don't have to answer the question, but it would make it much easier if you did.
She's like, "Sure. What's your question?"
How do you know where we as individuals are supposed to be?
So she's like, "I have a ledger. I read it. It has information about these lost souls. All 5 of you should be on a boat. That boat will take you to your next destination." And then he looks specifically down to Sigurd. Not all destinations are the same, but they all start with that boat.
A ledger? Who writes the ledger?
Death.
So basically, whoever
Merkel,
it
if
is
you really
work
need that
for?
information. She's starting to get like a little flustered. She's like, "Merkel, if you really need that, would you like to know the full hierarchy that gets down to me?"
Yes, actually.
Like, I don't have.
we do not.
She's like, "I don't have time." She's like, legitimately, "I don't have time for that." So she looks at the 4 of you. So it looks like 4 of you will be on a boat today.
And so I like take a step forward, like I'm ready to go.
Alu raises her hands towards the woman. Question.
You can
If
tell
you
that
have
she's
a
like frustrated. She's like, "What?"
No, I promise it's not as annoying as that one. If you have a ledger and they're all of lost souls, can I ask you if there's anybody else that you might have seen in recently that would have been here?
So she's like, you can just see like even through like the cowl, like her pale hand just like goes through it and just like kind of like rubs it for a second. It's just like Lily says, the things I do for my friends, and like just draws it down. The ledger's not on me. The ledger is with Merkel. But go ahead.
Oh.
Maybe I recall the name. What would you like to know?
Do you recall somebody by the name of Ode or Maggie or AJ or Basil?
Like you see, like every time, it's like and nod and nod and nod, and she says, "I do know one of those names."
They're here?
No.
Oh.
Also, just a side note, out of character, because Bao, you were in Freeport as a fighter. Those are all names of famous gladiators in Freeport, where you were.
Okay. Do I know all of them? Or?
All of them. It's kind of like saying, here's like the A team, like
Okay.
or like a famous sports team. Like, oh, that's the quarterback. Really, you know him? AJ. Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna turn to Ailey like, do you know these people?
Yeah, they're like best friends. And
What?
yeah, I'd been hanging out with them for a while. That's what I've been doing. We've been going on some crazy adventures, and then the whole thing at Freeport happened, and now I'm here. So I don't know where they are.
Do you think if I meet up with them, they'll entertain, I don't know, an arm wrestle competition or something?
Well, if they're dead and we're dead, I'm not entirely sure how that works. But if we run into them, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do that. Especially Ode. Ode would be more than happy to do that.
Who has an insight 14 or higher? Show of hands.
Like a passive insight?
Yes.
No,
Passive,
I
10
don't.
plus.
Well, sorry, I'm not exactly sure what a passive insight is.
So if you-
anyone
if
have
you-
an insight skill 4 or higher?
Yes, I do.
All right. Bao, you notice that there is a change in the hooded woman's posture when there's a mention of it.
So that's the Valkyrie, right?
Yes.
Or is
Yeah.
It... Okay.
So we'll call, for now, we'll call it the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie. You notice a change.
Oh,
in
sorry. Yeah.
It is now Sigurd. Players making things possible. The Valkyrie. The Valkyrie has
come
a
to
change
ordain
in
all of you.
posture. Yeah.
Ode, right?
Yeah. There's a change in posture. I mentioned it.
Okay. I'll ask the Valkyrie. Do you know of this Ode?
She's like hesitant. It's like, I'll make you a deal. How about this? We are behind schedule. If you all can get up over here, and she like looks and like points into the including that one, I will tell you what little I know about Ode.
Deal.
She's like,
I was
she
just
takes
gonna
2 steps
run-
back, and she's like, great. Get up here when you're ready. Because again, once you're up here, the safety of that blessing is gone. We'll need to start moving.
I was just gonna run to Ezra. Hey, listen, buddy. Put his arm around his shoulders. I'm assuming they're roughly the same height. All right, buddy. Listen, if you're scared, we got you. Don't worry, buddy. We got you. Let's just go and listen to this lady. I really want to meet this Ode.
Almost like a mix of sad from the situation, sad from her speaking of this blessing going away, and sad that yet another person is putting their hand around them. He's just gonna say, "Please, please get your arm off me," as if I have a choice.
I was gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, buddy. Let's go for real. Let's go."
As we start-
you run off ahead. I'll follow behind you.
At the hearing of he'll fall behind, Fantome is gonna go behind him. How big is he?
Ezra's about 5'7". He's rather light. Probably only weighs like around 130 pounds.
All right, Fantome's gonna grab him by his back of his collar and pick him up and walk him over to the rest of the party.
Very Princess Mononoke. Yeah.
I will try. I will do my best to not let the monstrous thing damage my clothing.
I mean, okay, that's fine.
I'm going.
It's like, I will not contest this. I will contest the damage to my clothes.
Yeah, going. I agreed. Okay, I agreed. Let me go.
Okay.
Don't
And
feed me to your children.
Like he'll walk. Phantomia will walk him up to where he's right next to Bao Bao, and then drop him down. Be like, "You are now with the party." He's essentially like, eh.
Yeah. The Valkyrie looks to the assembled party and says, the first thing you need to know is to let go of where you came from. Like, she says, look down. There's no ground beneath you. So walk, like, just more like imagine that you're walking and walk yourself up here. It's like, I'm going to teach you how to walk. She's like, Liz's like, I'm going to teach you how to walk, because if you don't do this, it's going to be really hard to move forward in this subplane. So for everyone who attempts to do that, what I need is a charisma check. So if you hit charisma, and not saving throw, but check, just straight, it will give a roll. For those, you do not need to roll that blind, because everyone's going to see how successful or not you are when you attempt this.
So she had asked us to let go of our former lives and to walk forward.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And just to, like do the imagining of walking up here. Don't think about your legs. Like, use your mind to do it. If you rolled a 10 or higher, you have no problem doing this.
Yeah.
If you roll a 10 or lower, you succeed, but you look kind of like someone who's tried to swim for the first time. You're like, foot, not foot. Foot, not foot. I don't...
Bao's just dancing over there.
Yeah.
It's like, this is fine.
You're like, we imagine people when you like, if I was ever in zero gravity, I would probably look ridiculous. You'd look like that if you rolled below a 10, which is currently only Sigurd. So everyone else is like, oh yeah, you just go with it and relax. You go forward.
This is easy.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty fun.
I don't like this.
And like Zano, I think we're trying to get to that point, correct?
Yeah,
We're
you're
just
able,
trying to-
and then your destination can be where this little stone pathway is.
And Ezra's best way to motivate Sigurd, he'll say, come on now. Walking's easy. You don't want to disappoint your good old all-father there, right?
And although he's being sarcastic, Sigurd takes it seriously. He says, yes. And with determination, he makes his way across.
Just flailing around. When you all get up there, Zana and Nalo. So if Alu, like, you're up there a bit. I'd say Bao, because you did so good with that check. Just keep in mind that you have advantage on your next roll, because
Okay.
you're taking this plane really well. Your go with it attitude is really like you're just swimming around. Like, I was born with the flight spell. I just do whatever I want. So your next one is an advantage with such a good roll. That said, Bao, Zana, and Alu being in front, you happen to notice a rather larger collection, or a swarm of these lights that are ahead, and you can see the hooded figure stops as well and crouches, and she just is very, very quiet, and she's like watching at the moment.
And like Xana will mimic because she understands like obviously the blue lights are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And she like looks to the hooded person and tries to be like as quiet as she can, but still communicating. Like, I can help us travel if you'd like, under perception.
So it's like she's like, I appreciate that.
Okay.
But she's like, there's this hesitation in her voice, like, but, and then like looks to Sigurd and it's like, I don't know if that's the best course of action.
Like, let me
To use covert activities requires a degree of unified. Just really struggling for like the right words here, because she's really like buying into this I'm a Valkyrie subterfuge.
It's like, let me try. And then you see her like trying to get stuff together as sneakily as possible. And just, let's see here. We're just gonna be real quiet here.
All right.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
Because she's like, this is obviously something that we need to be very careful of. Let me just dampen everything down a bit.
So the way that because planes are different, right? The way that this manifests, as opposed to you're currently not leaving traces right now in this plane, is
Right.
everyone looks more like a ghost. You're more ethereal.
We noticed this.
Oh, very much so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm fading.
Yeah, you're like,
fading.
I'm a jellyfish.
We must go faster. I think I'm fading.
Whoa, trippy.
I look over to Bao Bao and I just like poke him to see like, is he like a ghost or like?
He's material. He's as
Okay.
material as any of you spirits truly are. But yeah, like it appears to be like flesh and blood as much as that could be here.
Oh,
Hey,
so this is fine. You're not disappearing yet, maybe.
I'll poke back. Looks like you're not too. Looks like you're not either.
With his 6 strength, it probably feels like being batted like a kit by a kitten. No.
I'm just kidding. You didn't hurt me, but thank you for confirming. This is good.
Would we have noticed Zana casting this?
Yeah, like she
Yeah.
would, like she like very noticeably like gets low, and you can see her like putting stuff together because she's trying to do it quietly to get it so that they can all be veiled.
Yeah, he'll look directly at Zana, and Ezra will say, "What did you do? Why do we
Like-
all look different?"
Like it sounds like we obviously are in a very dangerous place. I'm trying to make it so we don't get attacked as we try to go to a boat.
But by turning us into ghosts, I'll look at the guide and I'll say, "Is this supposed to happen?"
Is this thing like just like you could almost see the question mark above the swarm as it like floats towards like Ezra's sounds?
Yeah, and like the Zana
And
looks at
Zana-
him like,
and the hooded figure turns around, like pulls her cowl back so you can see the scowl on her face, and she's gorgeous. Like she's easy, like hello, high charisma character, like flowing blonde hair, human person, but these steely eyes, like you took the cookie before dinner, and seriously, he's like.
He'll just shrug and like just like hit himself on the head, as if why even like as if he's asking himself why he even bothers asking anything. As he'll just fall in line, I guess.
Okay. No question mark that didn't quite make it.
it thought about it.
It
It
thought
thought
about
about the question mark.
I'll make it bigger.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a good question mark.
So the blonde figure, seeing like the defeat start to go over Ezra, takes a deep breath and she exhales and she walks over to Ezra. The second I have the right thing to do so, it's like, I understand this is very jarring. I even can empathize with your doubts, and I think that will keep you very safe. But for right now, can we agree that the survival is the most important thing going on?
He'll just kind of nod and say, "Yeah."
And then she like reaches out to him, and she's like, so Ezra, from my understanding, is like used to upper class. She is very like someone that he would see in like a ball, someone who very well fits into upper society. So reaches out to him to grab his hand. It's like, look, ask me any one question. I'll answer the best of my ability. Just a show of trust.
He'll, he won't move his hand back or anything. But he will he'll just kind of whisper, I'll ask it later.
Like, okay. And then she whispers back, it's like, you seem very smart. The thing that's keeping us all together here is our force of character. Guard well yourself against despair. It is worse than blood in the water with a shark.
Easier
And
said than done.
and then she's useless. Like, and then she like gives him like she's not very strong. Gives him a punch on the shoulder, and she not as weak as Bao Bao, but like 10 strength. It's like good. Keep
I
that
see.
fire, but keep the fire at a 3.
I'll just kind of mutter, why does everyone just want to hit? Why is everyone so
And
handy?
then she walks away and she's like, because you're very punchable.
Silent scoff.
Silent scoff. All right, and then so she like creeps back, and this thing is like just a box, and like floats away this way. So it looks like that thing is doing a patrol pattern of like this. And if you can't see it, it's like a big old circle. It's just drifting around pretty aimlessly. It feels more like a moth. Nice! I like it, Sigurd. It's more like a moth to a flame situation. It doesn't seem, from Zana's hunter and Alo, because both of you are rangers, it doesn't seem like it is a creature that is tracking something specific, but more primal in nature. Like a moth is attracted to a flame. How do you wish to approach this? Because from the way that the Valkyrie is presenting itself, it's currently blocking the most direct path.
Is there? Should we try sneaking past it? Is there a pathway around it if we look at its patrol patterns?
So, out of character, the patrol pattern is a little bit tight. All these blue dots, if you zoom out, are kind of like there's more sea of these things, but they're not as dense as this swarm. So you're a bit between a rock and a hard place. If you do decide to go around it, it is very obvious that the ones on the outside, you have to be careful not to get too close to those. You're really threading the needle if that's the case.
Out of character, you said that it looked like they were patrolling like moths to a flame. Is there something in particular they're patrolling around?
No.
Or is that not a literal interpretation of the word?
It's more like they're looking
phrase.
for a flame to go. Like they're
Yeah,
like
I'll
a moth that's looking for a flame to be attracted to.
I'll look at the party and I'll say, anyone got a torch? If this place works like, the world works, we could probably just light a torch and throw it in the other direction, and maybe they'll go to it.
Baba would just kind of perk up. Oh yeah, I think I have one. I'll reach into my bag and pull out a torch. Here you go.
Just yeah, thanks, and he'll take it, and I'll be like, you got something to light it with?
Let me take a look. I will look around and pull out a tinderbox.
He'll take the tinderbox, say, okay, listen. He'll kind of look at the Valkyrie and this one. As soon as I light it, I'm gonna throw it north. I think. Which way are we trying to go? Northeast? I can't really see.
Northeast. Yeah, it looks like northeast.
I'm gonna throw it to the southeast, and as soon as I light it, I'm gonna throw it. And as soon as I throw it, we probably gotta go, and hopefully they follow it.
Well, they go towards it. Yeah.
And then he'll kind of he'll kind of look at the cast, and he'll look at Sigurd, and he'll just kind of like tense up a bit before he forcefully just pushes the torch in Sigurd's direction. You throw it. You look good at these things, I think.
He'll take the torch.
It's got good throwing arms.
And he'll look at everyone else and say, anyone, any last thoughts before we do this?
So as a DM, I'm very curious. How does Sigurd feel about, instead of engaging in combat, avoiding combat?
Yeah, that was the part I'm about to get to. So like,
Yeah, go
ahead. He's holding the torch, and he's like, "What's the holdup?"
Listen, this is how it's gonna go. You can't see your boy, your father, man, if you don't make it to him, right? So you've already died, allegedly. So I don't know how it really works for the Allfather. I don't think he'd like it if you died twice. Especially, just kind of like wince and look around like, here. So we're going to take this boat to the directmost path to him, closer to him, I think. No one really wants to give me a clear answer here. So I'm going to light it. And as soon as I light it, you throw it. And then you look ahead as we're hopefully getting closer to where you want to be. Sound good?
I'm going to look at the Valkyrie and say, Are we trying to avoid these things? Are they dangerous? I'm gonna like kind of point at the wisps.
I will glare at the Valkyrie.
So the Valkyrie will they share this eyes you should take the best path that safely reaches you to the boat, and that is not safe. And she's doing literally period after the way she talks.
Why would?
As just gonna interject, say, "All right, I knew you'd be ready. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1," and then he'll do whatever he have to do with a tinderbox to light the torch.
Yeah.
Go.
So effectively you tinder the torch. It lights up. So now Sigurd's holding Statue of Liberty style. Here you go. he's holding the Olympic torch.
Oh no.
And then Ezra will just keep saying throw, and he'll just keep on saying it faster, and trying to peer pressure him into doing it.
Sigurd will reach for a weapon with the other hand.
Okay.
And kind of look at the party for a second and say, well, perhaps we ought to fight them to show the Old Father our glory.
No.
Exana looks at him and it's like,
throw the thing.
It's like, I understand that you're all about glory, and I get it. Fighting is good when you have something to fight for. All you do if you fight here is you threaten the lives of everyone around you. Is your need to prove yourself more important than everyone else's life?
He'll take his hand off his battle axe. Do I throw this thing now?
Yes, throw the thing. Oh my god. Get it away. She's looking back at the wisp, seeing what it's doing.
It's agitated.
Throw it.
How demeaning.
It's there's light somewhere. Where's the light?
he's like, how demeaning. And then he's just gonna toss the torch in the intended direction.
And then 10 direction was say you said south?
Southeast.
All right, so it's oh yeah, lights. So now it's it's really agitated, but it's over in this corner, and it goes to it flies or an insect would, going this torch. It floats there because again, it's like space. It's just floating there as a torch. You can see it's completely covered with these firefly motes just attached to it. All right. So now that it's flown, what's your immediate reaction after it starts going that way, very Metal Gear Solid style?
Go in the direction that the Valkyrie was looking.
All right. Let me remove this silly scribble. And the way she was looking was all the way over here.
And this, of course, follows. The ground effects are interesting. It does not follow me, but everyone, as long as you stay within 30 feet of me, you're good.
Yes, vision is rough, so if you get too far ahead, you start being unable to see each other well. All right, so there's another platform here, and then she looks back and says, the Valkyrie's all right, that threat has passed.
Valkyrie confirmed.
Valkyrie confirmed. And then she's discretion is the better part of valor, in an attempt to make sure everybody's happy. It's just totally resonating with the Zana party mom thing. She's man, I have to party mom with my group of people too. I feel you. Everyone's okay. We're good.
Could be that she's that way because that is also one of my characters. It's fine. Everyone gets party mom energy.
I'm just saying. All right. So when you reach this point, you Sigurd, you and Bao Bao immediately recognize the sound of conflict as you start reaching the other part of this. The Valkyrie is making her way in a northern direction, but in the distance, I'll light it up.
As I hear the sound of valor battle.
Battle.
Valor battle.
Valor
as I
battles.
hear the sound of battle.
Yeah.
I'll kind of exclaim the warriors.
Yep, there is the clamoring, the very distinct sound of a dagger or a gnashing teeth against a metal shield as it scrapes. The sound of a sharpened blade cutting through armor and bone and sinew through a fierce fight not too far in the distance. However, it is not in the immediate direction that the Valkyrie is going. The Valkyrie is going northward. The battle is more northeast.
More east, you said?
Northeast.
Northeast.
If you zoom out, you should be able to see as the formation of the ground where this battle is occurring starts coming into view, almost like a glorious battlefield in the distance, like an arena almost, against this sea of gray and black.
So over here, where my cursor is,
Yes.
Yeah.
is where I hear the battle.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the Valkyrie and say, "Where are you taking us?"
She's like stops, like, taking you to the boat.
But I hear the sound of battle.
And she's like, yes, there is battle over there.
Do they need help?
Yes.
Ezra see that and immediately try to interject and say, hey Sigurd, so you know how the Allfather, he wants you to like fight and do combat and stuff, right? He wants you to fight your battles. So the thing is that battle over there, that's their battle, not your battle. And if they need to prove themselves to the Allfather, then they need to fight their battles on their own, while you need to focus on your battles. Right now, your battle is getting to the boat. It makes sense, right?
She said they need help.
Yeah, like Insana looks like, but if you have the ability to fight, why would you not assist those that need the help?
Her answer is subjective. It's not factual. She thinks they need help, but I bet if they needed to fight for their glory to the Allfather, they probably wouldn't want you to steal their glory, right?
Could I insight to check to see if Ezra's just scared?
Yeah. Go ahead. So roll it open. Roll deception, the insight. So as a roll deception, Sigurd, roll insight.
You want me to roll a deception publicly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we can look
so
at
you,
the
so you can
numbers
compare
and
against the numbers.
Coward.
Oh.
Yeah.
So player v player, you tell you tell each other how that comes off.
Going to squint at
Oh.
Ezra as I kind of read him. I'm gonna say, "You're a coward."
I'm not a coward. I'm just sensible, and it makes sense to me, at least. I don't know what exactly, kind of gesture to your head. What makes sense up there? But why would we interject our current plan by doing something else that could pose harm to us? I mean, I'm not wrong. That if maybe they need to figure out their own fight.
I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna look at Ezra and then point to the 4-foot, pointing to Aelu, and I'm gonna say that 4-foot over there has more courage than you.
Ooh, that torch is still there for all these sick birds.
And I'm gonna look at the guide and say, "Take us to the battle."
Don't take us to the battle. Listen, do you consider yourself an honorable person? Morals, ethics? Do you think they're all good? Well, let me ask you this: in your past life, what did they get you? They got you here. That's what they got you. And as far as I see, there's no exchange booth for morals and stuff for beneficial things here. We're just all in the same boat, no matter how good or bad we were.
In that same vein, you seem to have avoided any kind of conflict, and it also got you here. Wouldn't you
That's
rather be
true.
proud of what you've done?
She got you there, buddy.
Oh,
She got you there. Got you there.
At least Ezra, as you're getting ganged up on, you can see the Valkyrie, like, her face sympathizing with you. She's like, oh, I'd like to not get involved too, but I don't think it's going that way.
he'll scoff and he'll say, I don't avoid all conflict. I just avoid unnecessary conflict. I've had plenty of conflict. I mean, obviously. I mean, who lives without conflict? The difference is that my conflict doesn't involve me getting a knife in my neck.
So you value yourself over others.
I simply value myself, and I think that we all have our own goals. And sometimes our own goals involve our own works. So I'm saying that I don't know those people over there. I don't know which side's fighting who. I don't know which side's right. But they all have their own goals. And maybe their goals involve them doing things with their group or on their own. They certainly haven't yelled out for help, have they? Have you heard them yell out for help?
Why would they yell out for help if they assume they're the only ones here?
Well, let's say a Valkyrie. Say we take
we gotta go.
Say we take the Valkyrie at face value. If they did need help, would they not be asking for help? I don't hear them asking for help. I hear them doing stuff. And I don't need to interject on them if they're not asking for help. Do you know what I do when I ask for help? I say, hey, help me, I'm in danger. Or I say, hey, I need help with this. Can you help me with it? I seek help. I don't feel like they're seeking help. I feel like they're just doing their own thing.
You are more than welcome to feel that way. However, I disagree. I'm going to go try to help the battle. We are at the same impasse. You may stay behind if you want. I would like to assist.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up on that and look at Ezra and say, "Cower in the dark hole, you please. We are going to see this battle through."
Are you going to the dark, where the battle is in the dark?
That's where the adventure is. Why not? Don't you want to live your last whatever this is for just a few moments of adventure and fun?
As Valkyrie clearly stated, it's dangerous over there. The boat is the next adventure.
It's dangerous everywhere.
But less dangerous on the boat. In the boat, hey, when you ride a boat, you know what you get to do? You go on an adventure. It goes so fast, you're like pitter-pattering in the water, seeing all the jungles and the trees and the cities and the civilizations.
Enough of this nonsense! We are going to the battle! And I'm going to start marching towards the battle.
You're stomping on the non-existent ground. Like, the ground makes these little ground pound sounds as you go.
And you start seeing, like, Phantoma get ready to do the same thing he did before, like, getting right behind Ezra, be like, I will pick you up again, and I will carry you if necessary.
You can the Valkyrie doesn't lead from the front on this one. She's like right in the middle. Like, okay. This is she's like just nodding her head, just thinking this through. As the party can advance northeast, she'll be in the right in the middle. So whatever your rank and file is your rank and file as you approach that northeastern direction. The Valkyrie will be about.
And like Zana will look to Sigurd and be like, you will have Phantome by your side. I need to be a little bit further back. So, like, I know we don't have separate tokens, but, like, where Sigurd goes, because you can get the feeling that he's much more of a frontline.
Yeah.
Stabbins. Murder. So, like, Phantome will be by his side when he goes into battle, and, like, Zana will be a little bit further back just so that she can shoot.
Okay.
As they go through.
Fair enough. As far as positioning goes, I will track that in my mental theater.
Yep, just throwing that up. So Sigurd knows that he always has a fierce floof next to him, getting ready to fight.
The fierce floof is a rather large wall to hide behind, so it does offer that level of fluffy protection. As you start going in a northeasterly direction, it's so far it's been like grays, black, void, space-like mental theater, with the occasional pieces of earth that are familiar for you to put your feet down on. As you start going to the northeast, the land itself begins to form into a much larger, more coherent mass. It looks a lot like a garden. Ezra's a little bit in the back, but of the entire party, the most familiar of what this looks like is actually Ezra. Because it looks a lot like the gardens in Upper Crystallis. Very high, woody, paved paths, hedgerows, flowing fountains, and it goes from this almost monochrome black and white, devoid of color, very Wizard of Oz, transitioning into a very lightful, vibrant green color. You can almost smell in the air the fragrance of flowers and running water that happens to babble through, even though there's no clear source or destination from it, as it seems cut and paste extracted from the world itself in this plane that you're in. The most obvious path to it, from where you currently are, remains in northeast. You kind of see like a little path that way. Mm-hmm. And you keep hearing the clashing of battle in the distance.
Is there a certain point that we can go to?
Yeah, I'll draw a little line.
Okay.
So everything's fine. So about where the line crosses.
Okay, so that'll be roughly like back here.
Baba would probably be beside Sigurd.
Okay. So Sigurd, as the front, as a warrior, you notice and immediately recognize the strength of another warrior in the distance. He is much more of a formal figure and It's this guy that looks like a dude with brown hair. It is someone who he's not particularly tall or particularly beefy. He looks like what Sigurd might have seen as a more stock and rank and file sort of soldier type. But he is clad with a sword, a shield, and he is fighting off what appears to be a large mastiff-like creature, elongated arms and legs, a bit deformed. Like if you took a hulking creature and he went down on all forms with mostly his arms and legs gnashing out. There is a lunge with these raking huge hands against the warrior, who pulls up a shield at just the last moment, and stabs his sword through the midsection of it. That's where the battle currently is at. Thoughts and reactions as the skirmish continues on, and that is drawing most of the attention and sound.
I'm going to whisper back to the Valkyrie and say, "Hey, who are the good guys?"
So the Valkyrie whispers out, like, "The good guys are the guys that are fighting a thing that looks like demons, I would assume."
I want to be shushing.
Yes, this is not a trick of manifestation of like individual evils or philosophical thoughts, and like says it loud enough for Ezra to hear it. I think it's an actual bad thing that they're fighting.
All right, well, all right, well, Sigurd will walk. He will run up to the battle.
Okay.
So, and then he'll have like a little thing to say, but I don't know what everybody else is doing. So.
Yep. Let me get intents from this one. So my intent I got from Sigurd is rushing in, saying something pretty cool, whacking this bad thing. What's everyone else doing?
Fantomi's gonna follow Sigurd, like be right by his side as he runs in, and then Zana's gonna try to get to the back of the creature, just shoot like from a distance. So I imagine by like some of the bushes back there to get to like a good distance.
Mm-hmm.
Bao Bao's gonna just whisper back to the Valkyrie, "We'll be right back," and then kind of just charge right behind Sigurd.
Her face is that I do not believe you.
Aelu is like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this," and follow through, and kind of similar to Zana, find a place probably on the opposite side, behind some bushes and stuff to like take aim or at least get ready to.
Okay. What's Ezra doing?
He's gonna stay behind the Valkyrie as he just shakes his head, and he just kind of like, I'm not gonna do a stealth check for it, but he's gonna kind of whisper as everyone, like, once they get to the location, he'll just whisper to her, are they really important, or are they like more on the expendable side?
So like when Ezra shakes his head, like the Valkyrie shakes her head like almost in sync, and the Valkyrie looks over very closely, and she's got this very like Sherlock-esque look in her eyes, just calculating everything all at once. And once she spots things that are a little bit less obvious, she says, "No, these people are extremely important." And like it's almost a tone of disappointment. Like she knows that they were not going to the boat now.
But yeah, that's all. Ezra will take out his instrument.
Cool. So the way we're gonna do this is we're not gonna roll initiative. This is very cinematic in nature. Sigurd, go ahead and do the like. How would you like to do this? Because your blow in combination to Zana's arrow will fell this thing. So go ahead as though you did a. How would you like to do this last blow?
Okay. So this is, just to clarify, this is a creature?
The creature is standing. No.
I don't think there's a token for it.
There's not a token for it here. I'll place a token so you have a point of reference for what this.
Yeah, just to know where I'm running up. I suppose.
Yeah. So the thing, and also a bit what it looks like, is going to be like this. That's the creature. So you're running up and you're doing the felling blow.
Unfortunate. Well.
Yeah, you're just going up. I don't think you have to worry about.
You don't have to worry about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just going in.
Yeah,
okay,
you're just running. It's nothing but theater of the mind cinematics. Sigurd gets to be the badass that he is and go ahead and fells this creature.
I dig. I am going to enter into my rage.
Mhm.
As I'm going to run up, as I exclaim loudly at the creature, "Everything or nothing!" And I'm going to draw both weapons and charge it.
All right.
Hell
and,
yeah.
and it's what's the felling blow look like? So you charge in, you get a good whack in. It will however you'd like to do that.
I'll swing with both weapons. So like just cinematically,
Yeah.
I'll swing with both weapons in the same direction. So it'll be a sword and an axe coming down the same direction.
Cool. And Zana, a flavor for your how would you like to do this? Pretend as though
Yeah.
you're the killing blow.
So she's like right behind the bush, like doing the last arrow. So as his axe and sword like go down on the creature, she gets one good shot that the arrow goes right through its head. Through its eye, you just see like the point of the arrow explode out of its eye
Mm-hmm.
as it falls down.
So I'll mix your two. How you want to do this together? And that Sigurd, you're doing this rather like upward swing. So you cleave this thing clear in half, and as it's like going a little bit in the air, it gets pinned by an arrow right through the head and goes further off into the line, leaving the lower half of its body to fall. Where like the soldier there has its knight in that section. Is like, well, it's easier to get this off now. Boot to lower body, sword out as it falls there. The warrior in front of Sigurd, which you can move your token right next to where that creature was.
Really?
He is. He looks like a very stock sword. He's got a sword that it's made of just clear metal. It's like not special, not like super magical, not rusted, just seen wear. He has a shield that has a crest of purple and a silver dragon on front. He's wearing a tabard that is very purple with silver linings to it. He looks pretty wounded, like he's got bandages all over his arms and legs, where you can see like blood has been halted from that direction. He's breathing rather laboriously where he currently is. Behind him are two dragonborn, one of which is resting on the ground very close to another one. One is they're all adults, so like a young man and a man and woman. I don't think they're young anymore at this point in time. But the man is very much like almost unconscious or dead, like on the ground, and the woman is in very flowing purple robes, like holding on to them like they're civilians in the middle of this conflict. And
I will.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, as I see that, I'll kind of turn back and where the arrow kind of flew from, and I'll kind of give a nod in the direction of Zaina, and turning back towards this character, I'm going to sheath one weapon and extend an arm to kind of help him up from his position.
So he because he's got a sword in one and a shield in the other, he kind of like goes around like the shield where he's holding onto it, like lets it lax against his forearm to grab yours to steady himself. You can definitely tell by the firm grip that he's definitely one of a warrior, but one that is exhausted. And he looks to Sigurd and says, I don't know who you are, but thank you.
Says, your wounds, are they extensive?
He's like, I'll survive. And from even what is the insight skill that Sigurd has? Like what's the plus?
It is a +1.
You believe him. Like it seems like very believable. Like he's just a soldier and he just got rid of a skirmish. He's letting the adrenaline wear off. And his physical wounds don't. Even if he did, you think that pride, he wouldn't talk about him.
I respect
it.
Coming up, for the life of me, Buck, you have to remind me, would Zana recognize the person in the purple robe?
Zana would recognize
dress?
all three of those people.
That's what I thought.
She's been wandering in the world for a bit of a time.
I was fairly positive, but I want to double check. Like,
I'm gonna scene to like, here is the cheat sheet of things you know about these people. Zana, you know how all three of those are. I don't need to explain anything. Ayla, you know none of these people. Everything is wonderful rainbows and unicorns. Bao, the thing you recognize most is the colors, which is the Knights of Targaryus. Very powerful, like Eldritch Knight style people. Very admirable, like professional soldiers. Ezra, you've lived in Upper Crystallis. So not only do you recognize these people as one of the four houses, the militant house of Crystallis, like the elites, that are magical fighters, you would recognize the lady who's in purple. as as Iolanthe Targaryen. That's like saying here's the princess of Crystallis in that house. She's one of the well-known people in Upper Crystallis. She's up here. So in a Harry Potter terms, if Dumbledore had a son, or a daughter in this case, that's her.
Out of character question, is there a certain title or like a way that you would address someone of such stature?
Just lady, because she at one point was the headmaster of that house. So like, lady is the very formal way. Lady Targaryen.
Gotcha.
And that's out of character knowledge. We'll switch back into, now that the commercial break is done, back to these people. That's the only like well-known name outside of all the stuff Zana happens to know, and probably will be telling us in just a second.
What?
Okay.
Well, first, is anyone coming up from behind? So now everyone is back.
Is the Valkyrie moving with us, or is
No,
she kinda
the Valkyrie is absolutely staying out of this. She's staying towards the back.
Then I guess I'll probably move up to here before I'm like, you're not.
She takes the cowl and she puts it back over her face and says, "It is best if I don't interfere with this."
I'll keep it as quick as possible, and he'll walk up.
And so, Zana will look at them and she will address them because she does know them. She's like, Italian, right? And Willis and Iolanthe, I think the last time I saw you was in the great battle for your homestead. For the great moving piece of the great battle.
So you'll notice that the person with brown hair who's been addressed as Talion doesn't put his sword away, and it's the adrenaline like shakiness to it. Looks to Zana, and it's like, yes. And the woman behind is like, one of the many times you have failed our house. Like, she's just sassy.
Oh
with them.
gosh.
And then you just get thrown mud in the face, like, shame, I guess I gotta keep walking. Just looks to Zana, and it's like, yes, it's good to see that he stops.
It's like,
Well,
yes,
because
it's like the circumstances could be better. Willis looks worse for wear. Do we need to help him?
And then the lady in behind who's been addressed as Iolanthe, doesn't get up, but immediately yells like, yes, finally someone with sense. We need to help my brother.
Okay. She looks at what she has with her, and she doesn't have much. And so she turns back to the group. Like, can anyone heal? I can heal maybe a point, but that is, I can fill their bellies, but I cannot do much in the terms of great hell healing.
Out of character question, you said the person beside the woman, was that presumably her brother, or she were referencing to her brother that he's needs help elsewhere?
She didn't quite specify, but they do look very similar. And Ezra would realize once he gets a little closer and sees the other one, that is Willis Targaryen, her younger brother.
He'll, after hearing Zana say this, he'll kind of step up and say, well, if it isn't the lady of House Targaryen herself, I'm curious what brings you and your brother Lord here.
To death?
Yeah. So she's laying very Disney majestic on this field of green with her brother laying down, head in lap, hand clasping this amulet that she has, and she has her hand over it too. That's her, I can't move from this pose, or I feel someone's gonna bleed out, I'm holding a wound for a situation. So she looks over to Ezra and says, the same reason that we're all here, I assume, a valiant fight that ended in failure.
And hearing that, Zana does look to Iolanthe because she's very aware of the fight that Zana died in is very tied to stuff that Iolanthe had helped with, and she's like, to your knowledge, was Reth successful?
She takes a deep breath and says, I don't know. Like, the last thing I remember, we're not fighting Wrath, and I'll do OC for some instance, just a second. We weren't fighting Wrath. We were fighting Elo. Of the threats that we faced, that was the larger. A different group of heroes was addressing that. I dare say that, and she's like, there's this taste of like acid as she's like spits. It's like, I dare say that Wrath was more of an ally in this case.
It did not appear that way to my tribe, but I will trust your judgment. And you can tell, like, with that statement of like that him being ally, knowing that he was like responsible for a death of a lot of people in her tribe, she's just like, it didn't look that way to me. But
she so a quick segue for those that would, Ailey wouldn't know, Bao wouldn't know, Sigurd wouldn't know, Ezra would know. So Ezra, you'd be familiar with these terms as like historical, almost mythic figures. So if Sigurd is going on with like Valkyries and the gods and Thor and the Allfather, you're talking about like Bahamut, like very big mythical features that you read in the books that are meant to scare people to doing the right thing. Like Wrath is the equivocal like embodiment of evil sort of demon that's going to come and like destroy your town if you're not a good person. But they're talking to them as though they're real.
So I'm sorry, just knowing that after hearing it, so what the woman had said was that this evil figure was their ally in whatever fight they were fighting.
Yes, and that Ayla, which makes absolutely no sense to you, was the battle that she was engaged in.
I was just to kind of say, interesting. Why exactly was he the ally? Well, he'll kind of look over at her, the injured brother, and say, I guess first things first, right? He'll take out his violin and kind of play like a very like slow and like very much like something you'd probably hear at like a funeral, in like a very slow and like deeper dull tone, as he will do his best to cast healing word on the brother.
Okay. Do not expend a spell slot.
Yeah.
When you cast that spell, the first thing you notice is that his affliction doesn't seem to be of that nature.
Let's see.
So like you like, it's kind of like a doctor looking for like, there's nothing wrong with you with your body, there's something wrong with your mind, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. After playing the tune for a few seconds, noticing this, Ezra will look at the woman and say, "I'm afraid that healing magic isn't going to help the Lord."
She looks at her brother down and says, "He lost his book. I think it's important that he has it. Ever since he lost it, he got weaker, and then this."
Book?
where did you think he lost it? Was it before death or during?
So at this point, Talion speaks up. It's like, after, when we arrived here, we've been fending off waves of, points to like the very tar-like icky thing that's what's left of it in this garden. Like, we've been fighting off waves of these things since before I can actually recall. 5, 6, I don't know. But one of them did manage to get a hold of his book and go, he points like with his sword to the southeast in that direction. And then snappily, Ion says like, "And I told you to go get it." Titan says like, "And I told you I'm not leaving you here defenseless against these things."
So like hearing the very like obviously passive aggressive things, like Zana's like, I don't want to be too forward for the party that I am with, but if it is that important, we should all try to survive as much as we can here. Maybe we can help, and maybe Fantome can help carry Willis on his back so he isn't something that you have to worry about as we go look for his book.
So Io looks to Zana and says, both of us, like she's like, the only thing that seems to keep him stable is, she's like, you can like see like the jewelry she keeps carrying, that large heartstone, like, is what she's holding to and her brother's holding to. As long as we can both maintain this, I fear that if we do not stay connected, I will lose him forever, and I cannot let anyone else die in my name.
Okay. Like for Zana, like that's absolutely fine. Just like, okay, like we'll come over to Fantome. He can help support you as we search. And like she looks to everyone else. She's like, unless other people have problems with helping someone that appears to be a dying man. She looks to all of them to be like, anyone having a problem helping a dying man?
No, not at all. This is a venture, and I would like to help. So let's do it. Sounds fun. Other than being like dead. So
Yeah, let's help find this guy.
More glory to earn.
Ezra will have the look on his face like he's about to say something clever, or witty, or sarcastic, and then he'll kind of look over at who he's dealing with and not say it.
Mass Effect decision wheel, just cancel.
Under the understanding that he's heard worse requests from nobles who make sometimes unreasonable or like irrational requests for like why their life or existence needs some physical property. He'll just look and say, we certainly can't leave the lord and lady here to die again, so we should do it.
Okay, so then like Phantom will go up to them and just essentially like be a brace for them. I don't think Phantom could carry both of them. I know they're Dragonborns. They're pretty hefty. That's what I remember.
They're pretty hefty, but those two specifically are very small, like in terms of mass.
Okay, so then yeah, like Phantom will just essentially like try to pick up both and just help. He'll like lay down so that they can get on his back.
It's a bookworm and a spoiled princess. Like
yeah,
they're not exactly like the beefy ones. That's
yeah, so he'll lay down next to them so they can get on his back so they can stay together and be safe.
Okay. So as much as Io can is like effectively like a mobile platform, and she's constantly making life difficult for Fantome. Like when he moves too much, like, hey, like gotta hold on here.
Yeah.
So it's just constantly like getting snappy at him a little bit. Like, you're not doing it to my standards. Okay.
Like, and how does Talion look? Not great.
Does anyone have proficiency in medicine? Let me ask that.
I might. Let me go start.
I don't.
May have been one of those scoffing ones. Nope, I did not take that one. Though before we leave, Ezra would kind of say, just kind of whisper, I will tell our friend what we're gonna do.
In the excitement, a few of you may have noticed that your Valkyrie is not with you.
Yeah, and as Ezra says that, he'll kind of start walking back in that direction while they get on the wolf or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk up to the Talion, I believe they said his name was.
Yeah, the soldier is Talion, yeah.
I'll walk up to him and say, so, how did you die?
So Talion looks at Sigurd, and you can definitely tell like he does not want to answer that. So it's like, I died in battle, and then Io, like an old married couple, says, yes, you fought and were, as usual, the first person to get killed in combat, rushing off like an idiot right into the thick of it. Talion looks to Sigurd and says, you know how like archers stay in the back and magic casters, they don't really appreciate when you get in there, the thick of it. Yeah.
Sigurd will smile at him and say, there's no other way to do it.
And he's like, yes, someone gets me. Okay, so camera 1, camera 2. So camera 1's like, the call it like Italian party, and Ezra, Valkyrie party. Go ahead, Ezra.
He'll just kind of solemnly walk back to the hooded figure and say, the extremely importance found other extremely importance, air quotes, over the second one. And they want to do stuff for them in the meantime. So we might be a little longer. And he kind of says this rather like looking down, kind of like he has more to say, but he just doesn't say it.
And she's very observant. And she looks over the party and says, "You can speak freely with me. What's your concerns?"
And he'll kind of say it in a low voice. They found the Lady and the Lord of the noble house that runs the military. It's not very feasible, in my humble opinion. And I'll say the word humble almost like it's hard for him to say humble. It'd be really bad. It's not likely we can refuse them. Not that the party wants to refuse them, but I certainly, as long as I am still dead alive, I can't object.
She nods, like, "We'll walk with safety, perhaps in the back. And well wishes." You can tell she's like very agitated by this thing. Like, I cannot engage with this. But when you have finished your business, meet back here.
Giving her a look of shared sympathy for the visuals, emotion she expresses, like, yeah. And I'll just kind of turn around and start walking back to the group.
And that is a good time and worth midway point. Does anyone need a 5-10 minute fire break, water break? We're about the midway point. We started at 3. We're about to be at 5. I currently have a time at 4:54. I'm gonna switch the stream over to our wonderful Be Right Back stream. And I'll see everyone back around 5, a little after. Take a moment to stretch your legs, get some fresh air, get some water. See you guys then.
All right.
I will mute the stream's audio. And we're back. We're reconvening with our quick McBreak-in. I'll let my dogs out. Oh, that is so many dice.
Holy shit.
What happened?
Dice explosion. That's what happened.
Oh. I adjusted the hero points because it would be out of 5. And apparently it read that as you're rolling all the dice. I don't understand.
It's a module thing. It's all good. I do like how on the stream, with the way the lighting works, Bao looks like he's a dark shroud right now. Like,
Yeah.
and the darkness comes.
The darkness consumes.
While we're waiting, a big little shout out to Kent. Kent stopped by to say hi.
Oh, yeah.
A good old
Hi,
friend.
Kent.
I don't know if he's still lurking or not, but he got a kick out of the glory booth.
I'm going to try to. And this is something I normally don't do. I'm going to try to pull up the video game in the background to let the queue go. New World.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure how you were going to do that.
I don't know. And for context for everyone's stream, like, New World's been really hard to get into, like, queue-wise. So before you have to, like, you have to prepare yourself, like, hours in advance to get into the game. It has, however, been a fun game.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 hours you have to give yourself. I'm like, well, let me get up in the background. So I'm waiting.
All the critics have had bad reviews, is what I heard.
Really?
It has terrible reviews.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can only speak for myself that I'm having a good time playing it.
Good.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, like I think like the worst thing about it right now is just the queue times. But other than that, I wonder why they'd had like bad reviews of it.
Yeah, what were their criticisms?
So the big points I heard was, one, they were saying the community is terrible.
Oh,
that's fair. I can acknowledge that from some of the global chat that I have muted.
I heard the community was terrible, and like the interactions are just horrible, especially with the scarcity of like resources and how that's
because stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so they mentioned that was like a terrible thing. The second thing they mentioned was the content doesn't, a lot of the content doesn't seem polished in terms of like the PvE content itself, and then some PvP content doesn't really seem like it's really that awesome. Like what it was like kind of predicted out to be and what it should have been. And then the third critique I heard was about the ability system, where like you have 3 abilities per weapon, but you can't even use any weapon you want. You have to use weapons within the same stat that you're trying to raise, because otherwise, like, essentially you can't use it very well. And then even then, each weapon has 3 abilities that you essentially unlock at level 12, and they're going to be the same abilities for the rest of the game up to level 60. So they're saying like there's a lot of diversity. Like you're gonna get really bland really quick. There's no difference in what you're gonna be doing now at level 12 versus what you'll be doing at level 60. Because it's just the same abilities throughout the whole time. Those were the biggest critiques I heard, honestly.
Okay.
So it could very well be the community absolutely exposed to we're still in the early game, so the blandness of like what mid-end game is we haven't yet to experience. But I can see that. I think a good friend of ours that gotta stop kneading this damn desk. Nixie mentioned something very similar. So shout out to Nixie. She has to be watching. Very similar. Like even Guild Wars 2 had more mix and match activities. And that's why I equate it to kind of like the Guild Wars 2 launch from 8 years ago. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
Still a good game. Obviously, I'm not gonna say like I'm a positivity streamer, but so far I can honestly say I've been having a good time.
Yeah.
Really social games, like people in Buck's gaming experience, the people really make it. We've had just nothing but a stellar group of people to play with.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the game, then that's all that matters in the end.
And exactly. Find things that make you happy and do it. D&D. That said, we're all back. And for pacing, I'll jump us right back in. So a moment to get water, stretch out, get some fresh air. Where we left off our break was the party has decided to help Iolanthe and Willis Targaryen and Italian restore some health to Willis. And that's where we'll pick back up. Everyone's together and has decided to do that thing.
And I think
who's leading
has
this adventure
has Ezra
returned
returned
from
to
the
us? Okay.
conversation.
Yeah. So we need to go south.
Are you asking character or out of
Southeast,
character?
right?
No, like looking to like Italian and island, on the back of. It's like we need to go south. And were they the same creatures that you just fought?
So Talia nods as the person who clearly was doing most of the fighting. It's like, yes, it was the same creatures, and the one that took Willis's book, and she's like, sorry, Lord Willis Targaryen, Willis house, his book is to the southeast. And he like points his sword in that direction. I'll draw a little thing where he points like that direction.
Mm-hmm. And out of character, would they count under favorite enemies for me? Are they abyssal or demonic in nature?
Having a moment to look at the one that's dead, they are a favorite enemy. So you have to remind me of what advantages you get about that. But yes.
Yep, because like that's going to be a really important thing to help us find out what they are. Let me double check here for my features, favorite enemy. So I have advantage on wisdom, survival checks to track them, as well as intelligence checks to recall information about them. And okay, the other one is that I have an additional favorite, but I don't think that matters. Okay, so basically I can track them.
Okay.
Well.
Oh. That's a lot of dice.
Did something happen again?
I don't know.
Okay, no.
I misclicked.
Oh, no, you're fine. It happened to me too. The hero points did a whole thing. So you're fine. But yeah, so Zana will like kind of take a moment and be like, let me see if I can help figure out where they are, and like trying like looking at the ground and looking at like the indent or whatever like indentations might have happened from the creature fighting and like the scent and everything, and she's gonna try to track it to get an idea of where they need to go.
Okay. So while Zana is going on full like tracker mode, what is everyone else doing?
I guess upon returning, I'd probably take as we're kind of getting into formation, I'll kind of take a step in the back and I'll kind of ask the lady here, why did where we were before looked like bland nothingness? Why does this area look like the High Garden?
So Iolanthe looks to Ezra, and she looks around and says, I don't know. And she's just like, then she's just trying to search for like a better answer, and she's like, I don't know.
You mentioned, is this where it'll kind of like look sideways, trying to think of like a not insulting way to say it. Is this where things happened?
So she takes it surprisingly well. She's like, no. It happened much further north. The battlefield was one of forests, and mountains, and hills, not a garden.
I'll just kind of like I was thinking, he puts his hand to his chin and just says, interesting.
She says, as prophetic as she possibly can, as like, hi Beyonce, say something cool. She's like, we're in a strange land with strange rules.
Yeah.
Is the gravity thing still the same here?
So
Have we crossed over?
Good question. The gravity thing is still the same, but meta. Because your minds are used to, if I see grass, I walk on it, it looks like you're walking on grass.
Oh, okay.
It's like very much the Matrix for your mind, but your mind is still attached to things that are familiar. And so the second you see this, you almost attach to the ground because you think you're walking on it, because you're familiar with you walking on ground when you're alive.
Well, out of character, would my character's familiarity with this area give him a good sense of what is going to be to the southeast?
Your character has a familiar with this area. If you went to southeast in the material plane, like where there's something like this would existed, you would have gone to noble houses. So if you took this garden path, the southeast would be noble housing.
Okay.
Well, shall we?
Yep.
Okay.
And
with that,
I'm gonna roll public.
in public or private, I think in this case a private roll because there's a bit of skill checklist. I'll take well, you know what the answer is now. But
It's a 14, yeah, but in the future,
yeah.
I'll do.
It's all good. Everything that moves things forward. So you roll that, and the thing that you notice is that the danger and a majority of the assaults from these creatures are coming from the northeast, not the southeast. So southeast, northeast. You notice that these things attack primarily with their teeth and claws. They hold no weapons. They hold no armor. They really don't, interestingly enough, hold many organs. You have a fresh specimen to validate a bunch of that with. They're just like an entity of Ichor.
Okay. And like she'll look to Talion, like, and you said that he ran off to the southeast, not the northeast. I'm noticing I can sense more of them to the north.
Talion nods his head. He's like, yes, I am very, he thinks, because he looks tired, mostly positive that they were to the southeast, and that's where I saw it run away.
Okay. He might be it might be a lone creature. I'll trust you on that. And she'll start like just kind of heading in that direction, just trying to keep her senses open to get an idea of like, okay, like where
as far as
like
like narrative control, I have created a white line. Just don't go past that.
Okay. Yeah. And she'll just like, and you can see like as she's going around, she's looking at like the grass, she's like smelling the air and everything, keeping Fantome close to her, so like Iolanthe and Willis as much as they can balance on Fantome.
Yeah, Fantome is extremely small. Like while you have this, by the way, treat Fantome as though he's not part of your combat or anything.
Because he's okay.
Yeah. So as Zana, as you approach the edge, you notice that the garden loses its color, becomes much more abstract, like blades of grass stop being grass. They become like these jagged pigmentations of it that wisp off into existence. And much like how you entered this garden, you are leaving this area that's a garden in this plane.
Interesting.
The thing that you notice is that in the distance and higher up, there's another landmass, but there's no clear direction from right where you are to that landmass from where you're standing.
Okay, so she's gonna have to kind of rely on her inner compass. You're like,
I'll beckon the rest on. We don't want to get too separated from her.
Yeah, and where your token is currently is I reflect where your characters are.
Yeah, I would like to follow along, like catch her kind of in the zone of tracking and take interest in it, but tail along.
And the Targaryen party basically is right in the back.
on the back of Fantome, like, well, we're just.
Yeah. Talion's keeping the defensive vanguard to Floof and Dragons.
Yeah. So, all they know is southeast.
Yes.
And my senses aren't telling me that there's any. Well, there might be something there, but
you do see like the edge of another landmass out there, like
on the
very edge of your senses.
okay.
You start seeing not less grays and blacks and like the soupy mist that is this plane's existence, but you start seeing things of solid formation that you see that were floating, like a large. If you were on a ship, it'd be like land hope in the distance through the mists.
Okay, so seeing that, Zana's gonna take like a deep breath and kind of remember when they first took the step over to the stone formations. Mm-hmm. The first time when the Valkyrie was telling them kind of how to do it. So she's gonna take a deep breath and just look at where she wants to go and just start walking in that direction, like okay. Knowing, hey, there might not be a definite path, but I'm pretty sure this is how this works.
Right. It's very harrowing. So give me a blind. Actually, no, open, because it's gonna be what it's gonna obviously look like. A charisma check. Force of character your way up there.
All right.
The number you're looking for is 10, so you do so gracefully.
Yeah.
Well, I can do that.
Anyone that would like to
Easy.
follow, it's the same thing except for Bao Bao. Bao Bao has this nailed. It's as natural as normal water.
Yeah.
All right, do I need a roll for it? Or?
No, you don't have to roll
Okay.
any more. Like zero
All
gravity
right.
is like where you're happy.
He's like, I was born for zero gravity.
Ooh.
We have
Elu's
to go
bravado
that
doesn't work the same way. What's up?
Do we have to go that way?
As you see,
Sigurd
like,
looks very reluctant about stepping outside.
It's all right. I'll come. I'll assume I was gonna bounce ahead, but I'll kind of turn around and kind of come back, and I'll help you.
so that means that whoever you're helping, Bao Bao, will roll an advantage.
Yeah, I'll help Sigurd.
You got this, Sigurd. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you.
Oh.
No.
Still the first die roll, but man, looking at both of them.
We're okay.
Okay, so we're only missing. It looks like.
Are the Targaryen party is following us, right?
They are.
They're on Fantome's back. So
Right.
yeah.
So Fantome is presumably going to be doing the airwalk with us.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
Doggy
attempting.
paddle.
Exactly. It's exactly what it looks like. Like they're holding on to fur and like just doggy paddling up.
Oh my god! Like you remember in All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Yes.
Yes.
It's exactly like the scenes in All Dolls Go to Heaven. The very first. Yeah. I'll roll for how good or bad Talion does this. And I totally rolled that private.
Yeah, but it's like, but we'll never know. He's just.
I will. He does rather well.
Yay.
He looks like he's able to get grips on it.
Okay.
As is so everyone with the exception of Elu.
Oh, poor Elu.
So it just looks less graceful, but is successful. And you can float upwards as far as said line. As you do such, I will describe what you see. So seeing the party's advance, I'm assuming Zana, Tatoka, and that is your advance. As you swim up through the sea of astral grays and black, leaving the landmass of the garden behind you, you start to see a new landmass above and ahead of you. The majesty of a large tree is the first thing, Zana, that you spot, as though it is designed to be on this hilltop and always designed to be there. For both Sigurd, Ezra, and Zana, you recognize this as a sapling of the Tree of Life, a Yggdrasil site. Rather large, rather majestic, totally feeding into now Sigurd's narrative of where they are.
Yes!
It is undeniable with the way that it sprouts up and out, as though its branches are reaching out to all forms of life, sitting majestically atop this hill. At the base of the hill is no less than 4 of these icky creatures that have arrows shot in them at the foot, almost watering that tree with the blood of the fallen. And that's it. You see nothing else but this tree, fallen ichor creatures, and a new landmass to explore. No sign of the book, no sign of anything else there currently.
But they've been shot with
Arrows.
arrows. And none of the.
To answer the question I think you're having, Talion is not wielding a bow, nor has.
Didn't think so. I'm like, what the fuck?
Homeboy's got a sword and shield.
Yeah,
Shield.
like
That's it.
Like, who the fuck killed him?
Listen to me as I.
It was me all along. It's like I have lured you here. Now it's time. I was like,
I just see that big tree and I'm just like jaw dropped, like I want to climb that so bad.
Tree,
So
Probably just-
stature, big ambitions. I respect it.
It's like, have you seen that tree? Like Azan looks to Talia, and like not sure if he sees the same thing that she does. Like, do you see the dead? You seen the dead ones, right? Like, everybody.
Talion looks at Zana, NPC to PC, and is like, no, I see it.
Right.
What are they doing to the tree?
Yeah. Sorry.
What's up? So, what was your question,
no,
Sigurd? And then what was
I
your
was
question
saying,
for
what are they
Ezra?
doing to the tree? I'm asking like to the
Okay.
party out loud, like to anybody. Yeah.
Well, like they're dead, so someone else is here. Somewhere.
And
And
you
that,
said
like-
the blood is seeping from them into the tree roots?
Into the grounds. So it's kind of like it's a bloody battleground. That whole entire idea of like,
Okay.
you shall feast on the blood of my enemies. There's so many of them,
Okay.
like 4 or 5, that the ichor splattered everywhere as though someone took a watering can of tar and was like, time to water the tree.
Yeah, and like there's just something about the scene that makes Zana very uncomfortable. So you can see like she like tenses up and she's gonna try to like stealth up there. Just it feels like either a trap of some sort or like something feels off
Okay.
about this whole thing. So she's gonna approach with much caution.
I was just gonna kind of kill the mood here and say, is that book on any of those dead guys?
Well, we gotta get there first. But Bazan looks and like, would you like to check? She's like pointing ahead of her, like, you're more than welcome.
I mean, can you see them from here?
It is not
No.
visually obvious that a book remains amongst the dead.
You never know.
So Bazan's gonna approach, like very cautiously. Oh, I see the tree.
You see the tree.
I see the tree. To the, I'm assuming the 4 are like at the base here.
Yeah.
Is there any sound or anything happening when she gets up there? Like something ambushing, murder?
Yeah, it's a great question. In this case, you can choose. We'll call it like a non-combat action. Are you paying attention to your surroundings and observing, or are you
Absolutely.
investigating the bodies for a book?
When she comes up, Zan will be the one to observe the area. She won't look through like for the book. She'll leave that for other people to look for the book. She's very much like trying to be on alert for what's happening.
Blind roll me perception, and that's Zana's sort of like call it scene action.
Yeah.
What is everyone
She-
else doing to make this a group activity?
I would like to
Go
look for the book.
Go to poke the bodies with my weapon.
Yeah, I would check the bodies just to see if like they're actually dead or if like any of them are alive.
Right?
Fair
It
enough.
feels like a weird, feels like a trap.
So I've got Bao making sure that they're alive, so they're not going to spring up and like punch you in the
Kill me.
throat. I've got Alu who's investigating for the book. Sigurd is investigating with the book, but like from a I'm gonna tip you over with my weapon. What is Ezra doing?
He would be looking for the book, but he's not really looking to be beside or in front of anybody.
Mhm.
Like he's really just kind of sticking back. So it really just depends, I think, on how far forward the Targaryen party moves. Will be the extent of his investigation to see if he sees anything.
They stay pretty far back. Like even when they want to move forward and Fantomi wants to be closer to Zana, Talion is the one who's holding them back from going further into danger.
Yeah, I mean, at best, he'd probably just be like a midway point between like the guard and them, because he kind of perceives this as the safe place to be.
Yes.
And he knows that he's really good at investigating things, but he also figures that if someone else is more willing to take the risk of getting ambushed to do the search, that he's not going to bother doing the search.
Fair enough. Question: who has the higher perception, Zana or Ezra? And the same question is true for investigation. Who has a higher investigation, Alu or Sigurd?
What is your perception?
My total perception modifier is +3.
I have +5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So blind roll perception you already did, so it'll be an advantage. Effectively, you're getting like a sort of assistance with Ezra.
Okay.
That said, what I'm going to say doesn't go to you. It's going to go to Ezra, because Ezra's going to spot it. Alu and Sigurd, same question, but for investigation.
-1.
Well then.
Plus, I'm smart.
I'm not.
She's like
care
just putting
about
her hands
books.
in there. It's like, is this how you look for it? Like just like
Like,
guitar
what is this
down to
stuff?
her elbows.
Oh.
This is how you investigate, right? Flies everywhere. Meanwhile, it's like if it moves, stab it again. Sigurd. So Sigurd, roll investigation at advantage.
It said blind as well.
Blind to GM. Yeah. Okay. So for the investigation party, you are, I wouldn't say comically, but there is some levity here to be discussed with the way that you do your investigation. You do not unturn a book, you unturn lots of ichor that you're pretty sure isn't toxic, but you're glad you have no open wounds. Like you're just going through it. You're not seeing anything. In fact, there's nothing there with the exception of the arrows that you're finding that puncture it. Ezra, your deference to defensiveness turns out to be rather advantageous, whereas Zana hasn't figured out where there is no traps. You do spot movement in the upper boughs of the tree.
There's a trap, and you said the upper what of the tree?
There's movement in the upper upper branches of the tree.
Yeah, he's gonna say, guys, get back, get back. There's something up there.
Sigurd is gonna
Back
stand
up.
up.
What?
He'll kind of cringe as he sees the investigation not going well. But yeah, he'll kind of they'll be quickly replaced with panic as he is able to see the movement.
And he's the only one who does, and it's just movement, like tree branches shaking.
Just shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonzana will step back from the tree, being like, okay, need to get distance then, for whatever that's going to be.
Babao's gonna just kind of look up from investigating the bodies, like, wait, what's up?
Sigurd will kind of stand up, covered in ichor, since he's been kind of putting himself into this. And even is gonna kind of look up and say, "Movement in the trees. Where they at?"
I'll chop this tree down. No. Phantomy howls. Just go, "Oh!"
Oh no.
It starts pawing the there's ground here. Like pawing the ground, like 2 stomps, yes, 1 stomp, no, 3 blinks, dance. Phantomy's very excited.
Phantom's very excited, but not dancing.
Not dancing. He's got Dragonborn on his back. He can't dance. He's not that good of a dancer.
Yeah.
Azra needs to teach him lessons. It's the direwolf dance.
Well, with Sigurd there, I was gonna be like, Sigurd, can you look up and see anything? Because I think he's right at the base of the tree, right? So maybe if he looks up, he can see something.
Yeah, she
And
said
not
to
get-
look up, but I'm gonna start climbing.
Okay.
Oh well then.
Perfect.
Oh my god, is this the
Look
challenge?
up! I will do it as I go up! Gravity, the #1 enemy in Aurora.
Oh, I mean, Ayla, you wanted to get to tall places. It looks
Oh.
like Ayla's gonna also climb the tree.
This is a challenge. No, so she sees that and nope, I gotta get there first now. So she starts off.
Alright, I feel like this is a camera pan to Ezra. As the party completely ignores your cries for you're in a trap and climbs a tree. How does Ezra react to this?
He looks in horror. He looks at them trying to climb the tree. He's like, don't climb the tree. It's a tree of life. If you break it, something bad's going to happen. And then he sees, them not caring. He's like, he just fake cries as he just gets his instrument out, ready to fight.
Yeah, and Talion just jims the camera like... Okay, so to set the theater of the mind, Ailu and Sigurd, covered in ichor, I might add, are climbing this tree. Bao, are you also climbing the tree now that you see this?
Yeah, how's Bao?
What's Bao up to?
A competition. What? All right. All right. And
To-
climb up too.
To danger.
Everyone's well, all right. So three of the parties climb the tree. I guess the question is we'll call it the reasonable party. What is Zana doing?
I mean, Zana's he said that there was movement at the tree, so she's gonna look to Ezra, where did you see the movement? Where? She's looking at the tree, trying to get a feel for where he saw the motion.
he'll go to like point the bow of the violin very precisely at one before just like waving it around.
Like, stop doing this! This is how you
It's
all
like,
die
there,
again!
they're all over there.
It's no wonder why you all are dead. Okay, and Zana, you, because we don't brute force rolls, you're like keeping your eyes trained on it, but currently don't see anything.
Well, I was gonna do primeval awareness,
Primeval awareness.
but
No.
that doesn't do much. It would just tell me if there's creatures within a mile.
Yes,
Of
there's
you.
definitely creatures of your favorite enemy within a mile of you, relative to space and time.
Yeah.
But there's the north, so you don't notice any of your favorite enemy in this tree besides the dead ones.
Could I sense the thing in the tree?
Sure, we'll call it the
'Cause
tree thing from now. So tree thing, what's up?
The tree thing. So with primeval awareness, it'll tell me if it's aberration, celestial, dragons, elemental, like basically like what base thing it is.
So you do get a pseudo reading because you all are dead of undead.
Great. Excellent. She focuses, she's like, fair. All right. That's just like, makes sense.
You think
All
3
right.
undead are climbing a tree?
Yeah. It's like, look, so there's there's undead going up that tree. Okay. And so she'll look at us and be like, I can't get a read on what's up there. It might be who shot the arrows. So they may mean us no harm, but it also may be a trap. But who knows? We have 3 people going right into danger.
We'll find out soon enough.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's like willingly going into danger.
Time for competition.
Yeah.
Public rolls.
Yeah.
Athletics. Who climbs that tree?
Climb
Oh,
that
Public
tree.
roller.
Let's make it fun.
Public.
It's a public competition. You're all like in a obstacle course 5K up this tree.
Oh,
It
no.
is not. It is somehow not.
Oh,
secret.
no.
Oh my god.
Alu was ready.
her inner desire to be at the highest mountain peak in her life just must have spurred her on. It's like to eternity. She marches her way up that tree. Go ahead. So you're clearly the winner. Go ahead and describe this because that's a mental image, all right.
Yeah,
It's an absolute blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little legs just climb up this tree with a furious passion to get to the top before anybody else. At least like the branches to where we kind of were suspecting this thing to be. And I finally get there and I hold on to part of the branch and I just look down. And for that moment is when she finally realizes that she does kind of feel like this is reality now, because it's not something that she's been gifted to be able to be this high up in when she was alive. So she gets kind of like sad, and then in that pause, she stops and she looks around to at least listen for any more of that leaf sound in her somber, oh my god, I am actually dead at this point because this hasn't happened before.
And in your awareness, as the climbing party makes its way up, you find yourself on a branch opposite another creature. He is Eldon. The very Legolas-like hair that goes from his head. He is sitting on a branch, and it's kind of moving every now and then, and he is reading a book. You do not recognize this person, other than it is a wood elf of some sort, so a wild nature-esque elf. Sitting there on a bough, reading a book.
So just look over.
He's reading? Oh, it's weird.
Hi there, person.
You know that like how some people read a book and they're immersed, and some people read a book and it's like, where's the answer to the question number 3 in this formula? He's the latter. Like he's like, books are hard. It's like just figuring it out, puts it down, and takes a break from this reading exercise, and looks up at Alo. Says nothing. Just totally chilly demeanor.
What? Okay. Well, this is weird. What are you reading?
Totally chilly demeanor. No response. It's like when you're trying to make a friend and they don't want to talk to you.
I'm gonna like cautiously like walk down the branch to get closer to kind of see what the book is.
Yep. So the elf doesn't stop you by any means, but when you get close, and it's like, do I know you?
I don't know you, so maybe you don't know me. But my name is Elu, so I just introduced myself. So I think that makes us friends.
And then he just sees like I'm extending friendship, and he's like, what are hands for? He kind of looks at your hand like you're an alien. It's like, what is my name? And roll insight, Elu.
Public or
Private, yeah.
private? Okay.
Now that we have the fancy blind rolls.
So,
Huh.
rolls. Yeah, you think he's full of shit. Like, I don't know my name. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, how do you just forget your name? That seems really silly, don't you think?
He looks at you. It's like, I know I don't like people.
That's not very nice.
And about that, and about the phrase, that's not very nice. Sigurd and Bao Bao join Elu and see this creature, this elf in a book, being totally not friendly to Elu.
Hey, is that the book? I'm asking Elu. Yeah.
I'm not sure. My new friend here well, doesn't really know anything, or won't tell me what he's reading, and apparently doesn't know his name either. Just complete mystery.
Sigurd is gonna look down at the other group. Hey, what does the book look like?
The party responds. Like, Io responds. She yells back, "It's a big leather-bound tome that has the Targaryen crest on it." Then she pauses and is like, who am I talking to? I'm talking to Sigurd. "It's got a crest of a silver dragon on it!"
Does this book match the description?
It does match the description.
I'm gonna look at the guy. I'm gonna say, hey, that's not your book. I need that book.
And he's very stoic, like someone who's lived in the wilderness for hundreds of years, and humans are just like this foreign concept. Which I guess Sarah could appreciate too, being in the mountains. Because I'm reading it.
Baba's gonna look at him. Hey, buddy, can we borrow this book for a moment? Can I take a look?
He's got like no text. Like, no, I'm reading it.
Hey, the guy over there, that's his book, and he did not doing very well, and I think he needs the book back.
He nods his head and then like flips the pages back and forth, like he's trying to find the answer to number 3 between 2 pages. I don't know this word. I don't think I know most of these words. Just completely tangentials off the side.
I was so surprised you had him reading.
I mean, I can
It's-
help you, maybe, I guess. I don't know. If you let me look at it, maybe I could help you find some of the words.
So, while this happens, camera 2, Ezra, Zana, and the Dragon Party. You can hear most of this conversation. You can't see them because, up in a tree.
Mhm.
What is your current status and or reactions?
Would Zana recognize the voice?
Zana would recognize the voice.
That's what I figured. So she'll look to Ilanthi. It's like, has something happened to Farron since last time we
What?
saw him? It sounds like he's hit his head or memory. Can he read now?
So, this whole entire conversation is like way over Ezra's head. Io looks to Zana and is like, no. Oh no. And looks to look to his brother. It's like, my brother is a very accomplished scholar. We could be here for a very long time if he is trying to read Melissa's book.
You can,
But he's.
Go ahead, Ezra.
But like no. Oh yeah, sorry.
he'll just kind of say, can we offer to read it for him? Would he give it to us then if I told him what the book said?
Like the Dragonborn Io just take deep breath. Like, with Farron, who knows?
Dear God, all the names. Zon will look to Ezra, like, do you seem like someone that would carry books? Do you have any books on you?
Out of character, I have a bookcase. I don't know how many books on.
If a book was specifically important to Ezra, he would have it with this person. If it's not, then he would not.
He would. It'd be a book with a title on it with nothing written inside, though.
Yes!
That's perfect. Okay. Can I borrow it?
I know you said the word borrow, but I'm getting a heavy suspicion this isn't a borrow situation. Is this...
Can we use it? Then you can probably get it back.
You say probably. This doesn't seem like. This guy sounds like Sigurd, and he takes out. He kind of sharing in the frustration that the noble lady had with her comment about talking to Sigurd. He'll take it out, and he'll hand it to Zana, and you'll just notice that it looks like a pretty it's like a nice fancy book with like the title like The True Journey of a True Hero, but there's nothing written inside.
Nothing written in it.
And he'll just like shrug, looking really like indifferent and kind of frustrated, like, here, whatever moves the boat, I guess, or gets us to the boat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And she'll grab the book and she'll go to like the base of the tree and she'll look up and she'll start speaking Elvish to.
Yeah, camera 2.
Real
party.
quick, while she does that,
Okay,
yeah. So as she's walking up, I'm gonna look at this guy, and I'm gonna get kind of upset because he's not listening.
Yep.
And I'm going to attempt to grapple him.
Sure. So for thematics, go ahead and give me a public. It's gonna be very visual. Give me a visual athletics check to see if you can go grab this guy. $17. You're very successful. So you go out and you're able to like grapple him, or like grab him upon his person. What you find is when you grab him, it's kind of like this warrior's respect thing. The way he reacts is very legless in fashion. Like he's very elusive, acrobatic, slippery. You can't quite get locks on him, but you do grab him. And he doesn't even seem like he's not like above noticing this. He does close the book and take a defensive posture, but doesn't attack you. Just kind of like just moves around. So you're kind of like a Gimli Legolas situation right here, and you're Gimli in this case.
So or do I not?
You do grab him, but you can't like get him into a lock, and he's constantly in a state of evasion.
So
But I have my hands on him.
You have hands on him, like you have grabbed his clothing.
I'm gonna jump off with him.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Make a Well, first off, I want reactions from Elu and Bao Bao, and Sigurd is like, I demand respect. Away we go.
Where is the book in this situation?
being held by the elf.
Oh, okay. Well, bye.
It's like more of just like the just a shock situation, just kind of like what?
I can help you read. I can help you fall.
What the hell happened?
Okay. So there's like this like shock.
Wait. I look over to Bao Bao. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because I actually don't know how to read. So.
Oh. I just give her again like just a blank like.
Did this happen? It did. Sigurd, give me an open athletics to see how gracefully you fall from this tree after climbing up it.
Oh, you said sorry. I thought it was acrobatics.
Oh, sorry, in acrobatics to see how gracefully you land or go down this tree. Is it going to be like?
Is he coming with me?
Oh, he's going with you. Absolutely. He
Oh,
might be
great.
using you as the landing, but he's going with you.
I don't want to fall gracefully.
Okay, yeah, then go ahead.
I
for-
wanna fall like. I wanna pin him below me.
All
If I
right.
fall.
You want
If
to you
that's
want
possible.
to pin him down. Go ahead and roll an athletics for that, because you're effectively grappling him on the way down. He is very slippery.
Alright.
he's like a snake.
Oh,
So I will say this, Sigurd, in all of your glory, you think you have him. Like you've got it locked in, and literally, and almost impressively, at the last moment, he turns the tables and you land straight, like flats, like belly flops, but on your back, and he's just like on top of you. As a warrior, I would like to point out that you immediately recognize that person has a lot of martial prowess to do that. But also, you're on your back. You're not going to take like damage. It's just kind of funny to see this happen.
Mission accomplished today.
Yeah, he's down there. So for the ground part, you hear crack, crackle, flop, turn, plop, boom.
Oh, and I
Dust.
imagine like
It's
Zana
splat. Splat of ichor everywhere. Just splat.
Oh.
like, you laid it on something.
Yep. Splat.
Yeah, I imagine like Zana got up there just as he like plops down next to her. She's like, what? Okay.
So Zana, you are splattered with ichor. Like someone like
Yep.
just did like the pull splash and someone cannonballed. That's you.
Like,
I was just gonna look down and be like, y'all good down there?
How does Sigurd react to that?
We're okay.
The elf is using Sigurd as like, I don't know, the new bow as he's like, and now I read my book.
I'm gonna look at the people on top of the wolf. Be like, is that your book? Well, I'm still on the ground.
So the IO looks over to that and it's like, that's the book.
Okay, he has your book. I brought him and the book.
so jeez. And all that, like, so I was gonna try to keep moving forward with her plan, even though now they're on the ground, which is a different situation.
And on that note, if Bao and Ailey want to make their way down to join the party, feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come down from that tree. So she looked like Farron, and she like looks him to see because she heard him saying that he doesn't know. So she's like trying to see if he actually has any recollection of.
Does not respond to the name Farron.
Okay. So she's like trying a different tack. She's going to speak with him in Elvish
Okay.
and say like, I see you have a very beautiful book there. However, I think I have a better book here for you to read. And she'll hold up the book in her hand. It's like, can we trade books for a little bit?
He's like going between the two pages again. Again, solving for problem number 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not really interested in that book. He says he's looking at this. I'm interested in this book. Like, he puts like the page down, like puts a hand on it. Like if I slap it hard enough, the information will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Did you know that the owner of that book is on that wolf right over there, and he could probably help you unlock all the answers in that book?
really?
Yes. All you have to do is let him hold the book, and he would show you how it works.
All right, our first social roll. Well, not true. We did an inside deception. Roll blind persuasion.
Did it go? I clicked the button.
Oh, I got the dice. They weren't good.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Oh.
He hears that as like, he looks over that person. He's like, yeah. I think I'm gonna finish figuring this out. You hear an audible groan in the background.
It's like, I agree that you should hear it out. However, that person will die if you don't let him touch that book.
And he's like, you can't tell if he heard that or not, because like back and forth. He's like, you can see almost a smoke coming out of his ears. How hard is this elf is thinking. And then he looks up, like, what?
And then, like she looks at him like, does your necklace still do that weird thing it did?
Io looks to Zana and is like, I don't think so. And then she
Okay.
looks like she's really hard, like she's like doesn't get a hernia. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
It's really
Okay.
hard.
So then, like, Saga, like, realizing what's happening, she's like, Phantome, from here. She's like, well, let me see if I close the gap between where Willis is and where this book is.
Yep.
Like, maybe he can get the book. Because the other thing is, wrestling it out of Farron's hands.
It's true. All right. So since it's a lot of like meta from previous, let's segue over to what other people are doing. So currently, Zana is successfully getting Phantome and crew and Talion and whatnot. So like Ezra, your safe party is advancing. What is everyone doing here?
I was just gonna kind of squat behind what's his name again? The elf?
They're calling
Farron.
the elf Farron.
Farron? Okay, yeah, squat behind Farron and kind of just look over his shoulder and kind of just try to read what's on the page as well.
Yeah.
Do I understand anything on the page?
Assuming you understand common, yeah? I imagine
Yeah,
like
common.
don't have the intelligence, the literacy thing. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you do read the top of it. It's pretty straightforward. The first line of it's this big scrawly like I am fancy text. It says to honor those before me, to those that come after, I entreat these words, these thoughts and feelings to pen. And there's a couple more lines.
I'm gonna in kind of like that. It's gonna be kind of like a breathier, like moisturous kind of voice, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, kind of in a way like breathing on in his face, kind of like. Do you know how to read this?
Yeah. Do you know how to read? He's like, so Farron actually perks up to that one. It's like, reading. Always struggled with that. And then you hear another audible sigh, like next to Ezra. So it's like, ah.
Maybe why don't we let the person who owns this book read it to us? Because it seems like we're having trouble reading it too.
It's like, no, I think this is important to me. Like, I want to accomplish this in my own two. It's like the feet equivalent to brain. My own two brains.
Let's see.
It's like, it looks to
day.
Bao Bao. It has like this connection moment. I was like, haven't you ever really struggled with something, and you need to do it. Like, you need to do it.
I see what you mean, but I mean I've struggled with a lot of stuff in the past too. But you know, it's sometimes good to ask others for help, and it seems like you're kind of having a little trouble here. Why don't we get some help here?
Getting some help. All right. So go. So the second die roll. Go ahead and blind roll persuasion. So that'll be the second of the d20s for persuasion.
Okay.
Persuading Farron.
Blind persuasion. Here we go.
Oh God.
Do we just not want to persuade him? Is that
I
what's
guess
happening?
are we all taking the
No.
persuasion
Are we
training?
all-
Like,
Well,
get our
if it's-
chance.
So there's only for the brute forcing piece of it. You only ever roll 2d20s for a skill check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the first one was done unsuccessfully by Zana. The second d20 was rolled by Bao Bao. I will let you know. I tell you what. I'll give you an ounce because I see that the party is very in tune to helping this funky elf.
Oh, that.
Because I mean, if what I was gonna do if he doesn't, I was gonna try to like kind of sleight of hand, just kind of just rip it from behind him.
Oh yeah. I'll say the persuasion. Go ahead, Ezra.
Yeah, if it doesn't look like it's working out, Ezra has his own plan to get this book, but it's probably not going to make the elf very happy.
It's fair.
Yeah, like I was just planning to if this didn't work, I was just gonna just rip from his hands from kind of behind him.
Okay. I will say that it is very clear that the words are not currently resonating. So the question now is that if you don't want to persuade Farron, what's your alternative plans? Because it seems like you've got less diplomatic plans in the back pocket.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna kind of take a hint from Bao Bao here. I'm gonna go, and he's not really covering the book, so I can just like look behind his shoulder and read, right?
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna start loudly reading what I see.
Okay. All right, so I have a thing for you on this one. You start reading. You start reading out aloud, and if you'd like to, put me in, Coach. Feel free to, because here are the words.
He'll just say in like a really loud voice, as like simplistic as he can, to absolutely, unfortunately, ruin the experience for this elf trying to do it by himself because he sees this as the best way to get it. He'll say, in like a fancy voice, to honor those before me, to those that come after. I entreat these words, these thoughts, and feelings to pen.
It's gonna get a little bit.
May you remember them as fondly as I did. So their deeds live on immemorial, beyond any farewell or goodbye.
So, you can see that the elf is like listening to this being dictated to him, and it's like, oh,
Immemorial.
Immemorial. What is immemorial?
Think of it as, and he's gonna pause for a moment because he realizes he's gonna have to dumb down what he's about to say next. Think of it as forever.
So he looks down at this, and it's really cringy to watch Farron. He's like, to honor those before me, to those that come after, and like he's like real proud. Yes, I got this sentence down.
Yes, very, very good.
He's like
He's like,
I got this like I need no affirmation like stoic face and I know how to read. I entreats these words. It's like I know what words are. Words points at it like a kid. These thoughts, feelings. It says like feelings. I don't like those. Feelings to pen. May you remember them as I did. And it kind of slows down a bit. Like it all clicks. Like so their deeds live on. Looks at Ezra immemorial.
He'll just nod.
Beyond any farewell or goodbye. And for a moment, the book, he's like has it in his hands, and Sigurd, he's still like using you as like a lounge, unless you've moved away. Otherwise, he's got the Sigurd lounge. so Sigurd, you feel the book hit your chest as it goes through the Farron, and he's gone.
What did you do?
Ezra looks around, waiting to hear whoever that was addressed to answer.
Blanket statement.
And like Zana looks to Willis, like, your book magic make him go. What?
Alright, well, we have the book. There we go.
Baba just looks in shock again. Just like he was like right there and now he's gone. Just
yeah. It's like one of those blink of the eye things. He's just there,
Yeah.
and then the second you blink, like the Weeping Angels, it's gone.
That went great. That's all you needed, right? The book. We can carry on now.
We'll do the telltale tales like announcements. Like Iolanthe will remember this.
Baba was gonna give Ezra a pat on the back. Good job, man.
He winces as you pat him on the back. He's like, "Thanks."
What happened?
Personal space.
Personal space. I need space to my personal space.
Like Zana will like just like seeing that her just disappeared in front of her. Like, she'll hold out the book that she was holding and she'll just hand it back to Ezra. Like, I guess we don't need this. Like, thank you for letting me borrow it.
He will look at it happily and put it back in his bookcase.
But like, she's very much like, what the?
Do we help him move on? I don't. If we're dead and this is a weird limbo thing, maybe.
If
The only thing we can say for certain is that he's no longer here. For better or for better. And he'll kind of turn back toward where they came from. And yeah, well, unless you have anything else for us, lady, we have other matters we need to attend to. Isn't that right, guys? And girls? And Wolf?
and Wolf. Well, let's give Willis the book. And do they travel with us to the boat now?
Baba's gonna look at the rest of the party and say, where are you guys going?
I imagine
We have
Sorry, what's Targaryen?
Targaryen.
Yeah.
So, Io answers and says, a way out. It was where we were looking for. And Talion looks to Bao Bao and says, like a lot of adventures, you play it by ear. And the ear we're looking for is the not here variety.
Fair enough. Well, we're gonna be headed that way towards the boat, and I'm assuming that's a way out of here. Would you like to come along?
We would love to. And like Talion does that I wanted this all along turn over to Io. And then she's get this like sassy, like, I will still be right no matter what happens. Can I see the book? Io says.
Oh yeah, sure. And just kind of look. I think Ezra had it.
Sigurd.
Oh, Sigurd had it.
It's like hit Sigurd in the chest.
Yeah, I was holding it up when I said like, well, we have the book. Yeah, I'll stand up, take the book, and I'll walk up to the wolf. I'll just kind of extend the book up to top of the wolf to give it to them. I'm gonna look at Tally. I'm gonna say, "Oh, you should come, Valhalla. You'll love it. All warriors. We drink. We battle. We sing of our songs of our battles. It's great. You'll fit right in."
Talion's like, great! Like, he's like totally like, yes! Acceptance in my warrior status! And then Io takes the book as like, you've chosen the wrong warrior. Unless you accept those, you just constantly die, fail, rinse, repeat. Gives the book to her brother.
I'm gonna look at her in astonishment, like, what greater glory is there but death in battle?
Living in battle? To battle more? She gets it to her brother?
He kind of gives her like this disgusting look, like, how dare you?
Definitely more of Ezra's crowd, right? It's very upper class. Gives the book to her brother, who starts like slowly like stirring. It was right just the medicine that the younger dragonborn needed, and it's just like, what happened? And a quick fade for pacing is Iolanthe and Talion and crew throw them in. There was a battle. His book was stolen. And now the party deciding like where to go from here.
Well, we need to go back to our guide.
Mm-hmm.
Go way back.
Yes. If you follow us, she may say that you need to go to the same place as well.
I will, in terms of pacing, if that is the party's will, I will montage you to your Valkyrie. Is the party's will?
Yeah, Ezra will just kind of add, at the very minimum, she might be able to tell you where you should go. If not the same boat as us.
So, like, Willis says in his raspy voice, like, yeah, see, things work out in the end. Just gotta have a little faith in things. He's like, you almost died again, so maybe not.
She's just so over everything. Like, stop dying. Just.
All right. So, yeah, your guide approaches. Over there. Guide approaches.
See, I said we'd be back.
Yep. Although is drama be the drama that it is, so that when you do such and the hooded figure approaches the group, who's now Willis is capable of walking, although he uses Fantome as like a bit of a crutch, kind of like someone who's just waking up and a little injured. The party returns victorious, and the cowled creature and Io looks at this person and approaching. Did not want to get involved. And she's like, "This is your guide? What's the party?"
Ezra kind of interject and say, yes, these fellow Lord and Lady and guard were wondering if you knew which way they should go.
From behind the cowl and like trying to be really careful not to show her face, she's like, "They too should." Totally doing a bad impersonation of not her voice. They too should go to the boat.
Why do you sound weird?
This is how I always talk.
No, it isn't.
Perhaps the time here in this place has changed the way you perceive my voice. We are in a strange
wonderful.
place.
We shouldn't ask any more questions. As ironically as you thought it would be for me to say that, let's go.
It must be the truth, if that is true.
Someone vanished in front of our eyes after reading his book. Like she looks at the balcony, like Sana looks at the balcony, like, that happened. Why?
That is a good question. Perhaps one for the boat, such as what has happened to Ode. The boat is a good place to ask these questions.
We gotta get to the boat.
The boat.
What? Who are you, and what did you do with the Valkyrie that was guiding us?
I am that person.
You said she's hooded, right?
She's hooded. You can't even see her face, like it's below. It's like you just see like the chin. She's got like low and down.
Yeah, I'm not letting this go. I'm gonna look at her and say, "Remove your hood."
I refuse.
Ezra will kind of interject in a probably vain attempt to get Sigurd to stop and say, Sigurd, I see you've taken after my words after all. You've realized that Odin values warriors of the mind.
No.
Doesn't it feel great to be like me and ask so many questions?
Hold on. She could be from hell, and she is trying to disguise herself and guide us away from Valhalla. I do not trust this. Reveal yourself.
Sigurd, how would she have been bringing us to Valhalla at first and now away from Valhalla afterward? That doesn't
It may
really
not
make
be
a
the
lot of
same
sense.
person that we left here before.
I can assure you it's the same person.
Well, I do not trust the words of a
Because-
coward. Reveal your face.
What is everyone else doing? As Ezra and Sigmund go through the battle of wits.
I'm just gonna walk between everybody's legs and like around the group, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like just step up to the Valkyrie and just like look straight up and see if I can see your face.
You can because you're so short. It's the same person.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same person. I don't know why everybody's gonna. So I like to do funny voices sometimes. Like, it's totally horrible.
It is unbecoming of a warrior to disguise oneself. You should be proud.
And you can see the background practically fuming. It's like I was like, oh, yeah, pride. I'd say that's your you could call it that. 'Cause, like, I'd say that's the Valkyrie's cardinal sin. Yeah. There. Mm-hmm. Italian's like, I don't want to get between this, but it's clearly important. And
Well, I guess one of the things that, like, as I was looking at it, the whole situation, and it's like, it appears you're hiding something. I don't think you're doing it very successfully, as Iolanthe seems to be onto whatever it is you're doing.
Oh, and now we're thinking of... So you guys decided to blindly follow her before asking these questions that I wanted to ask. And now that a hood is over, you're suddenly suspicious?
No. Like, it looks like I'm not suspicious. I just don't think they got along.
I'm suspicious.
She's obviously hiding something. She wouldn't even answer my questions when I asked them. We're all
You
probably
asked a lot
hiding
of
something.
questions.
And you should have learned at that point that she's hiding something. Yet you went along, and now that she's hiding, you feel she's hiding something you want to know?
Yeah, she's hiding
some
her
things
face.
are better left.
I want to know.
Some
know her
things
face.
are better left not known. Although there is a reason for it, and it could be a good reason, it could be a bad reason.
Isn't that a little ironic coming from you, though?
Just a little bit.
So what? Do you want you didn't want to stand in front of the light forever, but now we're in the middle of darkness, in a dangerous place. You want to decide to mull over these things? Let's ask on the boat. The boat.
The boat.
It sounds like, okay, let's just go to the boat. Okay. Like,
You're not going to the boat with this figure who could be misguiding us. Reveal yourself.
Well, you're more than welcome to stay here. That is, after all, what I was told when I did not want to follow the hooded figure.
that is true. Like Zana looks to Sigurd like, we should not trust her. We should still follow her. I'm merely saying that whatever she thinks she's hiding from Iolanthe, she's not being very successful at it.
Why does everybody think it's the same person? It's a completely different person.
Well, like, didn't Ailu...
Persistence
Yeah.
with Sigurd.
It's the same person underneath the hood.
It's like
Where's the
Ailu saw her
face?
face. It's the same person.
Yeah.
He's gonna squint.
Squint.
Sigurd, do you think
What,
the
you gonna
Allfather...
question me now?
No.
Sigurd,
But
do
I
you
don't
think the
trust her.
Allfather would approve of you being so disrespectful to someone you know is a warrior?
Shut up, one man.
He looks at the stain on his clothes and just
Yeah.
like he's trying to brush it off.
Fine. I'll follow for now. But I don't trust you.
Acknowledged. all right. Hilarious segue that it is. So I'll take the lady, so to speak, southwest, back to where things were originally. I will collect all these NPCs and do the same. Oh, right. So I will draw the path in which you take, as we are coming up on our session time. Now, follow the white line, and it will take you where you need to be. As you traverse, the landscape is very similar from where you first started, and that there's lots of space in between of the grays and the blacks and the lack of true gravity. And there are places where you can find places to stand that look like cobblestone paths, pieces of rock that are consistent. And where you will end up, I guess all there, I will describe.
It's an adventure. Follow the white line.
Follow
It's
the
like
white
Yellow Brick
line.
Road.
All right. So, when you follow said path, you notice that there is, in good timing, so the person in the hood gives an audible sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God we're on time. And it sounds like her normal voice, not whatever GLaDOS impersonation she's shooting for. So you get there and you notice that there is a large ferry boat that is making its way across the darkness. Like, there is no real water per se, but it looks like it's pretty well, acting as though it's going against water. And there is a large, and I mean like large and tall, hooded figure with a skeletal hand and a boat oar that is at the end of it. And he docks this thing. And everyone is present for it. And as the person's like, the hooded figure looks and turns like, okay, normal voice this time. Okay. Everyone has admittance paid for. And she goes into and she takes a bag and she opens it up and jingle. It's not a whole lot of coins. And she pulls out a minted like copper coin and gives one to everyone. Ezra, as a scholar, this is minted from no empire that you've read about at all. But if you'd like to, you can make an Arcana check or a History check to learn more about the coin. Ezra only.
You want blind or
Blind.
public? I'm sorry, I couldn't. hear you.
Blind.
Blind? Okay.
Yeah. So you start looking at this back and forth, looking at the minting, looking at the languages. Very valid. It's very similar to like it's an oval. So you are giving the coins they're giving to the ferrymen of Styx to get safe patches across it. So all this.
I'm sorry, it was a little hard to hear you. Can you repeat that?
Sure. You are an obol. So you're getting a token of currency for the ferrymen that take people across the river Styx.
He'll just, I guess, look down at it and frown because this kind of feels like it confirms what others were saying, but he didn't particularly, I guess, want to believe.
So Ezra has that sort of like, I am paler than before. Everyone else gets a coin. It's like, great, this is my bus pass. How are reactions?
Multipass.
Multipass. Valkyrie Dallas multipass.
I was gonna kind of like fiddle with it between his fingers, like have it jump across his fingers back and forth.
Nice.
Zana very pointedly, like she has in her hands, but then she looks at Fantome, and then she looks at the hooded figure, and she's like, "Does he also have passage?"
So, the hooded Valkyrie, who also gives a coin to, Willis, Italian, and Io, like goes to her. That goes into it for like another coin, like for one for Fantome, and then looks at Zana.
Don't separate me from my floof. Don't do that. Don't. Well, what happened to him?
He won't be able to get on the boat if we cannot convince the boatman to allow him on. I know that they do not take cargo, so don't consider him cargo.
Well, he's not cargo.
He is not cargo, but don't phrase it that way when you talk to him. That said, if he's not cargo, he's a passenger. Passengers require coins.
Was any of this said out loud, or is this just out
It's
of
out-
like player?
It's out loud. Like she's talking to the hooded figure.
Well, animals don't really have souls, right? So
Like, you get like glares from Sanj, like, I will murder you again.
if the currency for a ride is a token, and we right now are in some kind of realm between life and death, I don't see why someone would have to pay for something if they don't qualify as needing to pay for it. It's like wanting a horse ride, and you pay for each adult, but your children just kind of come along. Yes, they're still alive or existing, but they're not adults. So maybe that'll work.
As the
Okay.
boat drifts towards a docking state and stops.
So like Zana takes a deep breath because like this is a rough thing. She will walk onto the boat with Fantome
So, the act of walking onto the boat is barred. As you dock, you know that the ferryman first is going to like the helm of it, and you notice a few things. You're not the only people on this boat. There are huddled masses that are currently there already, to the tune of about 12 people, and it looks like it could afford everyone in Fantome to enter the boat. But the creature, and that's the best way to describe this thing if you really take a look at that token. This creature with red eyes and a skeletal face looks towards everyone and says, "Do you have your admittance?" And then skeletal hand goes up and says, "2 tokens, please."
She looks to him like, he is a part of me. And we travel together.
Roll. This will be hard for Zana. Roll insight blind to learn the insight of a very weird skeletal red-eyed raspy creature that runs the boats and the planes.
It's like, how much insight can you get from them?
Okay. You don't know this creature, per se. You do know the demeanor is very business-oriented, however. So, money, like almost greed, is what's driving, not compassion. That's what you gather the insight, like, that's not going to fly. Like, we are one together. It's like, great, you're taking up space on my boat.
So it's almost like I would need something of equal value to a coin. To him.
That's a good insight to it. Like, this is a businessman-like creature, a very lawful, whether it's good, evil, or neutral, very lawfully oriented.
Yeah. Do I have anything that might?
Not really.
Have that like weight to it? Yeah.
So, as you know, Zana, like, you're thinking about what you have. What are everyone's reactions? Because the boat is docked. Like there's no water per se, but it is this creature, this ferryman is looking for your admittance.
Gosh. I mean, I don't want to willingly go to hell. Or doesn't sound like a fun time. And I look over, I see Zana struggling because of Fantome. And the only thing that you think of is that she takes the locket off of her, from around her neck, and hands it to Zana. Maybe this will be enough. I don't know. It meant a lot to me. I don't really want to give it away, but if this is the end, then at least I'll go out knowing that I helped a new friend. Put it in her hand.
Zana looks at it like, but what if this is something like that book? What if this? And she stops. And she's like, "Thank you. I don't know if it'll help, but thank you."
It's worth a try, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So to confirm, this is a very pivotal moment for Alo. You took your locket off. You handed it to Zana. You had a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. When you release your hand from your locket, everyone sees that for just a moment, Alu is like taking a step back, and there's like a wispy like look to her, like almost like breaking off, and then there's a coin that just drops and hits the floor that she had for her obol.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh.
And like,
yeah.
Zana looks at the Valkyrie like, "What? What was that?"
So the Valkyrie doesn't say anything and takes a moment of silence and goes and picks up the coin. It's like, it is... Take a moment to honor that. And gives the coin to Zana. You should choose who gets it.
Hold on. Choose who gets what. Where did she go?
So The Valkyrie turns to Sigurd. She's like, she's gone forever. And points out to where all those wisps are.
Like gone where?
Everywhere.
The wisps are people that gave things away.
She like is very hesitant. Like, the wisps are what left of you when there's nothing left of who you are.
Do you mean to tell us these coins, they were people?
Good reference to Avernus. No, in character, it's like, no, this is a contracted currency. The coins, like, he points to the neck, like, that is the equivalent to your soul. A core piece of your essence.
Ezra's gonna do a cartoon walk as he, like, dun, 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 as he like strolls up and hands him his coin, and he looks at the rest of them and says, he pauses for a moment because he knows that he's probably going to get hated for what he said, but hasn't stopped him before. He's going to say, she made her choice. Now make yours. Are you going to sit there forever, or are you going to move on?
My next choice is going to be this battle axe in your skull. I'm going to look at the Valkyrie. I'm going to look at the Valkyrie and say, why didn't you say something?
So at this point, the Valkyrie does take her head back, knowing how important that is to Sigurd, and looks him dead in the eye and says, there are rules to uphold, or no one would be here. And as far as the ferryman, like, to be clear, like, Ezra can't get on the boat. Like, he still has his hand out. He has one opal, and it's like, 2 opals, please. The one isn't enough.
Wait a second. It's 2 per person?
And in hearing that, the Valkyrie turns around and like echoes that. It's 2 per person. The deal is 1 per person. And the ferryman says, not if there is a wind blowing. We leave in 10 minutes with or without you.
We feel this wind? So I was gonna be like, what wind? What wind are you
no
talking
one,
about?
No one feels any wind. Like, this is like, there is no wind. However, let's see here. Both Sigurd being divinely oriented and Zana having that primo sense, do you feel like there is something coming this way that is just like a force of nature, like a tornado or a hurricane?
So like Zana looks to the Valkyrie. He's like, your boss. There's 2 people that were with you. So that you were doing like an internship or something. Can you get him here?
So she's like visibly panics, like, no, not in 10 minutes.
When will the next boat come back? Or when will be the next trip?
And the creature with its coal red eyes, they're set in absolutely nothing but this bone skull, looks to Bao at the next stop. And out of character, like, the context of like time and space is very abstract in this thing.
Okay.
Sigurd, still angry about what the quote-unquote Valkyrie said, will look at her and say, you're no Valkyrie.
And then she says, like, looked as like, I never said that I was. You said I was. I never lied to you, but I got you here. That was my job. And then Io scoffs, like, exactly. Liars and thieves, all of you.
Ezra will kind of walk up to the Valkyrie and say, skip me if you want. I'll probably need a minute to think about it.
Oh, so yeah, so it's like he's up there.
Yeah.
It's like, I have thoughts and they're all happening at once. What is everyone else doing while Ezra is collecting his thoughts?
Baba's gonna turn to the party and be like, well, what are we gonna do? we only have 1 coin each.
Except for Zana, who's got 2.
Well,
Yeah.
like Bazana has 2, but she's not good. So she looks to Valkyrie, wooded, where she's like, would Fantome stay here?
So the Valkyrie says, I would take him with me personally. It's the best I can do.
Where
Well-
do you go?
To the next group of people that need guidance. But I can't stay here when that storm comes. No one's going to survive that. We have to get going as soon as possible. If we're going to... Anyone who's stranded here has any chance at all.
But he'll be able to see me if I stay here,
Yes.
right?
If you stay here, then you stay here.
She'll give away our coins.
To whom?
One to Sigurd, and I think she gave one to Bao Bao because he climbed up the tree with Alu. Yeah, so she would give one to each of them that climbed up the tree with Alu to kind of honor her giving the coin.
Seeing the nobility of Zana giving away both of her coins, Io steps forward, and she's one of those very honorable. Instead of all the sass and doing, you kindly see her in this light. She is presented in this light that is very noble, and gives the coin to her brother and says to Zana, like, I can't continue on knowing that more people have died in my name. And then she stands next to Zana. And then seeing that, Talion just takes a deep breath and says, like, well, you're useless without protection. And takes his obol and gives it, gives like the good, like the shake that goes deep into the arm to Sigurd, and gives him his obol and says,
So Sigurd has 3 obols now.
coins. Yeah.
Sigurd's like, yes.
It's like, you were the first person. You were the first person to help me when I needed help. I can think of no better person that gets this and decides where it goes.
Sigurd will hold all 3 coins in his hand, and he'll walk up to this person now he no longer acknowledges as a Valkyrie. So he'll walk up to her, and he'll kind of look her dead in the eye, make a fist around the coins, and kind of slam the fist, not like trying to hurt her,
Mhm.
but slam it like a thud in her chest.
Yep.
And then drop the coins to the ground and say, "You're no Valkyrie. This is not Valhalla. I will not be going with you."
And you can tell that being so close, she's not physically hurt, but she's emotionally hurt. Like that was like a dagger to her heart. And but she keeps a brave face on. But as the coins drop, and as like how some pieces are like very BBEG above it all, very humble to have to go to her knees and pick the coins up.
Elbao's gonna go up to the hooded figure as well and say, "This place that it seems like you guys just toy with human lives or people's lives. This is not a place where I want to go. Even though if I am dead, to me this is no heaven." And then I will just kind of give the coins back to her.
Okay.
Not dropping it, but just handing it over to her.
She's still like scrambling, like someone like dropped their books on like a standard trope anime. So she'll like just take the coin as she's down there collecting her coins.
I guess Ezra will walk up to her, seeing as she beat him to picking up the coins. And,
Yeah. Oh, with all the coins, if Ezra wanted to swipe one, he could.
I mean, he would have went for all of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay. Let's see. So if he's actively doing it, give me a sleight of hand roll.
I mean, he's not. If she's picking them up, it's not really like he's gonna go out of his way to take one as she's picking them up. He'd probably just walk up
Guide
to her
him.
and say, Are those coins? Are they yours now, or can I acquisition them?
She says they have to be given freely. So because and in so many words, like they're mine now.
Okay, so are you willing freely to give them to me?
I'm freely willing to give you the one you need for passage.
Not looking to overplay his hand, he will say, fair enough.
She gives one of the coins to Ezra.
He'll kind of take a walk toward the boat, and he'll kind of say, as much as I admire your guys' honor and morals and willingness to do whatever it is you want to do together, unfortunately, these things don't equate to life. They only equate to what you want them to equate to. They don't actually translate that into the real world. And he will attempt to hand his 2 coins to the driver.
The ferryboatman, the skeletal hand outstretched, takes it, and like moves his hand out of the way to give Ezra admittance to the boat.
And he will walk on
Okay.
and simply look at those below.
So, as Ezra's on the boat, the Valkyrie, not Valkyrie, stands up, and Willis, who's a little bit weakened, has his 2 coins, one from Io, and looks to his sister and says, "This is foolishness. Like, this is pride. The circumstances aren't great, but we have a family back there. We have a responsibility back there. I can't just go without you. What does that say about me?" And she says, like, it sounds like you got to be an adult and make a choice. And he's like, that's bullshit. And then he goes towards the boat, and he's just really angry. It's like, you have all these resources. Why don't you just use them? And he joins like Ezra, the 2 scholars, so to speak, and he sits. Alexa, name drop. Alexa, because I was like, Alexa, you gonna be an adult too? And and that's why I was trying so hard not to say her damn name.
I know. I was trying to assist in the moving around the name.
The Valkyrie, not Valkyrie, said, it's like, no, this is very clear cut. I'll have to do weird math because we did like an algebra problem with where these coins went. I have coins here that I can give freely. And then like the Italian looks to Io. It's like, well. And then Io looks to the rest of them. So 4 are accounted for of the total of 8. It's actually Talion that stands forward and looks to Io's like, please take the coins. What good is it like this? And like really like trying to, it seems like an internal affair, but he looks to like Sigurd as a warrior. Like, do you want these coins to mean nothing? Like, do you want this safety to mean nothing? And then looks to Zana. It's like the things that you protect. If the people you protect just throw themselves into the fire, is that what you want? Is that what you felt you died for? And then looks to like Bao and is like, there's other fights that aren't always right here. Just dismissing them isn't the right way. And looks to Aelu and is like, I got nothing. Or Ailu's gone, so I can't say anything to Aelu. I got nothing because she's not here.
Looks at the place where Aelu was.
Yeah, the place where Aelu was, and that's his pause. Like, and that sacrifice, can that mean nothing? It's like 2 people can get on that boat. Are we really? Looks, are we really doing this? Like, we are 2 people. Be selfish. You're good at it. Just like, shut up.
To respond to what he said, Sigurd will say, "What we protect the choice, not the commodity."
And Talion's like, the choice is where I go, you go. Always. And then, so like you can see Io's just like overwhelmed, and the time is ticking. The boatmaster is already like stepping back. There's minutes to go. Does anyone have anything else to say to the group or party for the decisions of where the remaining 4 oboes will go?
I mean, like, at this point, like, Zana will look into Arhor'ha. He's like, you have fought so hard. I think it's time that you let yourself rest. And rest with your brother.
So you can see Io's like in tears, like, I don't have my powers anymore. I am of no use out there.
Your power comes from inside of you. You know you want to be by your brother's side.
But not if that means the cost, and looks to like Vizana and Sigurd and to Bao Bao. And you can see the respect in her eyes. It's like, none if it comes at the cost of great people. I am tired of watching great people suffer because of me.
It's just like, I can't go there without Fantome. I have to be by his side, just like you have to be by your brother's side. They're not the same. Some people are going to win, some people are going to lose. You deserve to win. Let yourself win.
And she looks, you can definitely tell she's vulnerable at the moment. She looks to everyone who sacrificed for inspiration. She looks to Sigurd next.
I'm a warrior. There's a battle to be fought. We'll keep fighting until my time comes. But this, and he kind of just gestures, this is not where I belong.
You can tell she's like processing, and for such a sassy person, she has no words and looks to Bao Bao.
With all due respect, ma'am, I'm just a traveler, just looking for a good fight. You, on the other hand, look like there are many people behind you and need you to keep going forward.
She reaches out and just like tears in her eyes and like puts a hand on Bao Bao's like, no, you're not just a traveler. You, all of you, you're heroes. And I won't forget this. And she looks to the Valkyrie, not Valkyrie. I will carry their stories onward. And she looks back and says like, I promise this. In this life and the next. Be safe. And then Talion goes up next and he gives out first 2 coins like, and by all means, whatever's coming, run. And the 2 of them take their coins and join the boat. The ferry boat master takes up the little barge thing that goes to those boats and begins to sail away. Put these people over here because I can move them, sadly, over here. And the boat begins to fade away, leaving the Valkyrie, not Valkyrie, Sigurd, well, Ezra. Yeah, you're on the boat. You're about to like sail away. Some sail away. Come sail away with me.
Yeah, I'm sounding such a dick. as we start sailing off, I'll yell to the party like, well, I can't say it was the worst experience, but it certainly left something to be desired. And he'll kind of look at the Valkyrie and say, oh, hey you! You owe me a question or an answer. I won't forget this.
So she yells back, if you want to fill out the pages of your book, start with small acts of heroism.
Sigurd will yell at the boat as it's riding away. May you tumble and fall.
So the boat fades away, leaving Bao Bao, Sigurd, and Zana and Fantome present as they go away. And the non-hooded figure anymore looks to Bao Bao, and it's like, I never did answer what happened to Ode, and I do feel bad that I didn't get a chance to tell Alu.
What
But
what did you have to say?
he's not dead. He's not in the pages. However, there's been enough deception for one day. He is imprisoned.
What for, may I ask?
His soul is bound to a celestial force known as Capra, being used as little more than a material pawn on Arhor'ha. If it is a battle you seek, you may find the greatest battle with him. And perhaps, if that is the passion, and looks to Sigurd, that you hold, you could free a great man from his prison.
Why should I trust you when you've lied to us this whole time?
And she says bluntly, you shouldn't. But perhaps you'll see for yourself and make your own decisions. Let's get you back.
Kind of ask, kind of like reluctantly. So I'm not sure if he should ask this or not, but he'll say kind of like in a soft voice, "Will Aelu be there too?"
And then she says very bluntly, no. Aelu is with the wind and the earth.
And like Sana looks at the necklace that she, like the locket that she gave to her that made her just like disappear. She's like really sadly at it. And she looks to Fantome knowing that like that was what the sacrifice was for, was to get Fantome there. So she's gonna find a way to put the necklace on like his like little paw, so it's like a little bracelet for him, so that he can walk around with it.
He's like,
Like, I don't mind.
I don't like clothing! But he accepts it.
I was gonna ask again, how are we, since we are dead, supposed to do this task you ask?
She looks out into the nothingness and the expanse. And you hear the rolling of wind in this direction for the time being, and she steps a little forward. You can see that, much like Odin has like the ravens, like she becomes this large bird, this large white bird, and takes one of those wings across the three of you, and the raven itself looks down and like calls at you. It's like, for now you believe, and you get back to where you belong. And that's where we end our session.
Oof.
So that was Fading Nights, a one-shot from Arhor'ha Adventures. Hope everyone had a fantastic time. There were definitely some moments, some that came to pass, some tearjerkers, some laughs, all around a fantastic time. What we typically do after this is that we will go do an after talk to talk about our favorite times, things that we liked, thoughts and whatnot. I will kill the stream. Normally I stream this one, but because of the New World stuff, I don't want to do that.